just don't give me a clock.
All right, and welcome to a Monday Night Mystery. It is January 18th, and we are together again to see if we can match wits with the greatest detective of all time, the master of deduction himself, Sherlock Holmes, with another episode focusing on the Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective Mysteries. I am both a host, moderator, and player tonight because I don't know this mystery, Lantern Noir, also known as Rob to people who know me personally. And I'd just like to take a quick moment to introduce tonight's Baker Street Irregulars. A dear friend and musician and artist, Erin, also known as the Lilting Otter. You'll find a link to her on the About down below, as she is also a channel sponsor from her Etsy store. She's been kind enough to help keep the lights on around here, so we will show her a lot of love and affection. And if I'm on top of my game and don't have it there immediately, it will be there later this evening, lest I be called a liar. And then continuing around the circle is the only, the most beautiful woman I have ever laid eyes on. That would be the gorgeous Mrs. Noir, a.k.a. Jenny or Genesis. Like Mr. Churchill and I really only have two things in common. Three, actually. We both like a whiskey, and we both consider our greatest accomplishments in life is having convinced a particular woman to marry us. And then there's RJ or our Justice, who I have come to know through the great role-playing circles, who's going to be lending us his chops in that regard and his brains as well. And last but not least is Nurse Pam, a.k.a. Elvira, who is a regular on the stream when we hit the Wild West and Red Dead Redemption online, where we, you just got to watch. I don't think I can adequately describe the wackiness, which is our adventures in the fictional West. So, tonight's case, the banker's Quietus. Case 7, April 11th, 1890. Did we have questions as a team before we get started that you want me to tackle?
Did the butler do it?
The butler, it is not impossible for the butler to have done it. It very rarely is the butler, but I will tend to agree with Tony. Always look at the wife.
It was the wife and the chamberlain in the kitchen with a candelabra.
Always look at the wife in the case. And if you have never seen an episode of NCIS, I got to admit, like the first 12 seasons are pretty good. Or 14. I don't know how long. However many they have on Netflix, I never wanted to stop. I am also in my 40s. That could be a factor. Okay. So then we're going to dive right now in the case. And we're going to see where this takes us tonight. All right. Here we go. Okay, move that over there. And I think we're good to go on that front. Okay. So we start off with the premise. The world's first consulting detective, Sherlock Holmes, turns from the fire where he has restored some measure of warmth to his hands and comes to his seat before his morning breakfast. Sitting with us around the table are Inspector Lestrade and Dr. Watson. Well, Lestrade, what brings you to our humble abode on this cold, windy morning? An ill wind, I presume? You presume correctly, Mr. Holmes. Murder. Ah, indeed. And who was the victim and what are the details? The victim was one Oswald Mason, chief accountant for the Bank of England. He was found murdered at his home at 10 o'clock last evening by his wife upon her return from an evening out. Side note, this now makes both the wife and the butler suspects. Just saying. All right,
RJ for the win.
Resuming. He seems to have been a simple, hardworking man, leading a quiet and unassuming life, and on the surface, there seems to be no motive for the murder. Well, Lestrade, I don't think you came out on a morning like this just to tell me that you have a murder with no motive. I can't believe that Scotland Yard has exhausted all its resources and must now turn to me. Lestrade does not immediately respond. He keeps his dark eyes focused on the plate of kippers in the center of the table. After a moment, he raises his eyes and looks at Holmes. You're right, Mr. Holmes. I think it's premature, but I'm here at the request of the Exchequer. It seems that Mr. Mason was doing some work for the Treasury, and the Chancellor wants to make sure that Mason's death has nothing to do with the work he was involved in. Do you
Can
have
you
any?
repeat that one more time?
Sure.
Mason was doing work with the
Treasury,
Treasury.
and the Chancellor wants to make sure that his death had nothing to do with that work. So that I believe, unless I'm mistaken, I kind of follow British politics. It's the Chancellor of the Exchequer, which is like the Secretary of Finance.
Okay.
Okay, Aaron's giving me a thumbs up. My British civics is up to snuff.
So far, so good.
Yay. Okay. Do you have any evidence that the murder was related to the Treasury matter? No, none whatsoever. I tried to convince the Chancellor that unless some new evidence turns up, it looks as if Mason's death is just another commonplace murder that I am sure the Yard can solve. I am sure, Lestrade, but as I have said before, and depend upon it, there is nothing so unnatural as the commonplace. Right at the moment, I am finishing up a vexatious puzzle, so perhaps my friends here will be able to look into the matter until I am free.
I'm incorporating vexatious into my daily vocabulary. Vexatious.
Very useful.
Because there is a lot of stuff in my life that's vexatious right now.
I absolutely stand by that.
Yes.
Okay, so what do we want to start with?
Go to the corner.
Wait a minute. What's the day?
Wait a minute.
Wait a minute. Oh, wait, no. No. Okay.
We should go to read the newspaper.
I just opened the newspaper for what I thought was this day.
What was the date again?
It is April 11th, 1890.
Okay.
Which is why I jumped, because one of the headlines in the paper I opened was "Mummy Strikes Again."
Oh.
And I was like, we solved that last week. Oh.
So we're going to
Wrong
need
paper.
the papers from April 11th, 1990. Okay.
Yes, so 1890. So that's 19. That's number 7, I believe.
7.
Is that morning paper? Let's see what we got in this mess. I'm thinking this might not be a bad time to call on Mycroft if we're dealing with the Office of the Exchequer. That does feel like it's very much in his wheelhouse. Let's see. Anything else interesting? As we all start skimming through the papers looking for anything of relevance.
There are live ostriches.
Live ostriches?
For sale. Oh, no, on view.
On view.
Yes.
And you think the ostrich did it?
No, I'm just saying it's interesting.
Oh.
Is there anything interesting? There's also 40 varieties of European crane, ornamental waterfowl, etc.
Do I need to start clarifying that when I say interesting, I mean to the case?
I was about to point out the superior mutton that someone was developing.
100% just started reading the section in the newspaper on Ireland, and I was like, oh, Ennis. I have friends who live in Ennis. Oh, wait. Focus on...
Okay.
I see that there's an article in the paper about the murder.
Yes. Do you want to throw it out there?
Sure. A murder was committed in Bloomsbury last night. Shortly after 10 p.m., Constable Lane, summoned by cries of help, entered the home at 42 Tottenham Court Road of Mr. Oswald Mason, chief accountant of the Bank of England, and found the body of Mr. Mason sprawled across the desk in his study, where he had apparently been murdered by a blow to his head. Mr. Mason's body was discovered by his wife upon her return to the home around 10 p.m. The police report only that the intruder apparently entered by an upstairs window, and judging by the disarray of the study, a struggle occurred in which Mr. Mason met his death. As of this time, the crime has not been brought home to any person, but the best detectives of Scotland Yard are now involved in the investigation and search for the perpetrator of this bloody crime. Mr. Mason is survived by his wife, Rose, and a brother, Cecil. So we need to go talk to Cecil.
Maybe.
We're allowed to go to this residence, correct?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. That's another.
Because... Oh, sorry.
That's another good. That's probably a pretty good opening start.
Because if he was connected somehow to the government, we could probably check the study for any missing documentation.
Uh-huh.
Oh, good idea.
Yep. And both. And Cecil does have a lodging. He has a registered address in London. So he is also an option if we decide we think we need to track him down, which I feel there's a little bit of a, well, they mentioned him in the paper. It's probably some level of relevant.
So isn't that just pretty standard for an obituary? Or, well, I guess it's not really an obituary. It's a...
Yeah.
It's just a news article.
Yeah.
Possibly. So is that where we want to start?
Shouldn't we talk to the wife first?
She'll probably be at the scene of the residence.
Scene of the crime, yeah.
And she'll be a terrible historian, likely. She's been overcome with grief.
My husband, I haven't seen him in 6 hours. Throwing a shawl over herself.
You know, when I was doing my paralegal classes, one of my professors was talking about a case that a woman came in and she was looking for representation because she'd been accused of shooting her husband. So she was trying to get a good defense attorney. And so he did the standard opening stuff, name, some background. And he said, well, putting your defense together, can you think of anything that your husband might have said right before he died that would be relevant? She said, well, if I recall correctly, his last words were, "Damn it, Karen, put that thing down. You know you never keep it loaded, and you couldn't hit the broadside of a barn with it anyways."
Famous last words.
Wow.
Yeah, I think he declined that particular client, but I could be mistaken. Let's see, 42. Well, if we're going to go check out the scene of the crime, let me make a note that that's where we're going. Mason home. I can't imagine that's not a good opening start. So do we have an agreement to head there?
Okay.
Works. Yes.
Okay, 42 WC. Let's see what we got. 42 WC. Ooh. 2 columns. Good sign. Constable Parks, on duty at the Mason home, shows us the study, the scene of the crime. We find the study in shambles. The office chair has fallen back with all elements which were on the desk are now scattered on the ground. The inkwell has spilled its contents on the carpet, and the stain has extended to a book which was apparently on the desk. The knickknacks from the commode have also been knocked over, but the furniture from the back of the room is intact. At the foot of the window, we also find fragments of a completely destroyed plaster statuette. Wiggins is near the window, a magnifying glass in hand, examining the windowsill. There's a palm print here on the windowsill. It looks like it was left in a residue of plaster dust, says Wiggins as he replaces his magnifying glass in his coat pocket. Where was the body found, Parks? It was sprawled across the desk. You can see the blood stain on the top. The blighter put up quite a fight, I must say. How was he killed? Head was smashed in by a statue. It was sent over to the lab for old Murray to look at. Is there any indication of how the murderer got into the house? It looks as if he entered by the upstairs window. It was found open, and it shows signs of forced entry. Who found the body? His wife. She said she was at her weekly whist game at the West End Social Club. She arrived home around 10 o'clock and found her husband dead. Did she see anyone in or around the house? She said she saw and heard nothing. Is the room as she found it? Yes. She said that as soon as she saw her husband laying sprawled across the desk, she ran outside for help. Constable Lane came at the sound of her cries and took charge. The only things removed were the body, which was taken to Bart's, and some of Mr. Mason's papers, which were taken to Scotland Yard. Oh, yes, and the statue, which was sent to the criminology lab. And where is Mrs. Mason? She was in a state of shock and was taken to her sister, Mrs. Edward Farmer. Blimey.
What
Can you
was
repeat
she
part-
playing? Sorry.
Whist.
A weekly whist game. It's like bridge.
How do you spell that?
W, is there an H?
Yes.
Yes, WHIST.
Okay, so cards.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Where was she playing at?
The social club?
West End Social Club.
West End Social Club.
And now the society columnist might become relevant.
Dun, dun, dun.
Can you repeat the part about the palm print? Where was it? On the windowsill?
On the windowsill, it was left in the dust from the plaster.
Oh, okay.
Going back, there's a palm print here in the windowsill. It looks like it was left in a residue of plaster dust.
And there's the plaster statue that was destroyed. Correct.
The statue that was believed to be the murder weapon, which is now at the criminology lab.
Yeah, but wasn't there a second statue that was?
Yeah, but there
Yes.
was through the window.
Yes, there was. Fragments of a completely destroyed plaster statuette.
Okay.
So there's the statue, which is intact at the criminology lab, and this broken statuette, which is in shatters.
Mhm.
Well, I was just
Somebody's
thinking-
copying priceless artwork.
Yeah.
And Oswald Mason has something to do with it. That's what Pam puts forth as of right now.
I just wanted to make sure because I thought that the handprint on the windowsill might indicate somebody had come in or gone out through the window, and the
Right.
upstairs window was a red herring.
That's what I was thinking.
It doesn't sound like that is.
Does it say if the palm print is facing out or in from the window?
It does not.
That would be super helpful information.
That would here's my supposition. In order for the handprint to be in the windowsill, it would have to be in place when they went out the window, because how would he get the plaster from the statuette in the office on his or her hand coming in the window? So,
Unless the statuette was broken before they came into the office.
and they reached in, put their hand in the powder, and then put their hand up on the windowsill?
Like during the struggle, they could have like put a palm on the windowsill.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or
My other
But we can run with the assumption.
Yeah.
Sorry.
thought statuette is, was there something hidden inside it? And that's why it's been smashed.
I wondered about that too.
I'm digging that.
Mhm.
That is highly possible.
Does it say the body was sprawled over the desk, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Was it in a sitting position, or did they smash their head over and it just fell that way?
It does not specify. I would wager that if he had been found as though he was just seated at the desk without a struggle, they would have said that. But I think the officer saying that there was clearly a struggle in the body on the desk implies it was not just like he was sitting there and got bonked and fell forward. Plus,
Because it could always-
Where on his head he was hit? Was it the back of his head, side of his head?
I think we would find that we'd have to go check we have to go check the morgue
corners. Yeah.
Okay.
if we wanted to go that direction. But yeah, the crime lab currently has it.
And just for reference, everything in the front of the room is in disarray, but everything in the back is untouched.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it was a very limited struggle. They didn't cover the whole room. I'm digging the break-in, smash the statuette, get the thing and get out, and Murray walked in on it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm digging that for a theory.
That's a good theory. So it sounds like we should think about either going to the coroner's office, the sister's house to talk to the wife, the lab to look at the statue, or the Scotland Yard to look at the papers. Is there anywhere else? Or the brother's house?
Yeah, to question the brother, Cecil. Does it describe what the windows like on the second floor? Like, is it high up? There's like gates or whatever, or
We just have it's a second floor window.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who else we need to go talk to is actually the Chancellor. What kind of work was he doing for the Treasury?
True.
Do we know who the Chancellor? We go to the Office of the Exchequer is in the book, isn't it?
He's the one who wants us to look into this further to make sure it's not connected with his work for the Treasury. Well, what kind of work was he doing for the Treasury? Why is that a concern? There's more there.
We might find that in his papers.
Unfortunately, we are somewhat limited in that we need to say where we want to go in the sense of what's in the phone book.
Yeah.
Which I am currently perusing now for some reference to the Office of the Exchequer.
Mycroft might also know what he was working on because he knows a lot of government stuff.
Yeah, the government offices list government office, colonial office, foreign office, home office, India office, the printing office, and the war office. There is no reference to the Exchequer in there. But Mycroft might be able to steer us if that's what we want to consider. There's also the Bank of England. We could go straight there.
Like he has an office in the Bank of England.
Well, he works for the Bank of England.
You're right.
Yeah.
So
We have 6 choices.
we have lots of choices.
Well, the good news is if we want to check on him, he's not going anywhere for murder.
True.
Blunt head trauma.
Yeah. Yeah, he is definitely set where he is located. So what do we think? I'm thinking we should either check out the morgue or the criminologist. Or Scotland Yard even. I mean, Scotland Yard's not a bad option just to see if there's anything in the papers, but I'm worried we're going to hit a dead end there because it's not usually that neat.
Yeah, but we are specifically to investigate whether or not it's related to something he was working on. And theoretically, the papers from his desk would be things that he was working on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Unless he didn't bring his work home.
I don't know. Break into his home office, though. That sounds like he is bringing his work home, at least in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, his copying priceless works of art business.
What is the statuette of that was
We don't know. Just a small statuette.
Okay, so we have to go to...
The wife would probably know.
Yeah.
If we want to go talk to her.
I want to go to the social club, too, at some point.
Confirm the alibi?
Yeah. It's a good
Although, we don't... Hold on. Wait a second. Okay, so... Inkwell was spelled... The constable who came because the wife was calling for him.
Yeah.
And if I remember right from the very beginning, Lestrade said that the constable was summoned by the noise.
So which is it?
Well, I'm thinking that even if we were to establish that she was, arrived home at 10 o'clock, that doesn't necessarily clarify, like her alibi is still kind of like, there's no timeline we can work with because she's the one who found the body. She's the one who raised the alarm. We don't have a time of death unless the coroner is really on their game. And I'm pretty sure liver temperature science is not a thing yet.
Probably not. The coroner is not usually as helpful as, CSI.
Well, we can see if she got, or he got, like, if it was really the statue, or if it's like he got knifed and then they whacked a statue over his head.
Knife,
I
shot,
think it's
poisoned,
important. You know me.
and then, bonked his head on the way down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
So what are we doing, folks? What do we want to? Where do we want to go?
I really want to look at his papers, but I could be convinced to go somewhere else.
I don't know. The papers sound really good to me too. Checking out those papers.
I'm done with the papers.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
To the yard. Okay, so Jen probably knows this. Why do they call it Scotland Yard?
I don't remember.
Because you're like the queen of trivia, so.
That is not my trivia, but I can Google it.
That's probably not relevant tonight, but I always wonder what. There's a reason behind that.
Because
Okay.
it's a yard from Scotland.
Well, it can't be too bad because they still use it as the name, and it would have become. I mean, they've had lots of chances to reconsider if it's not a good backstory. Like, well, that's where they took all the prisoners who were always, Scottish. I'm like, nah, that's.
Because
They-
it was
Answer.
it looked like it was the Scottish embassy in London when they were still two separate countries.
Yeah.
Ooh. Oh,
It was a medieval palace that housed Scottish royalty when they were in London on visits.
I thought it was something like that, but I couldn't remember for sure.
and they
Yep.
turned it into a police station.
Well, no, it stands on the site of a medieval palace. The palace is no longer there.
Scotland Yard, because it's okay. Okay, all right.
And that's because that was the original headquarters in Whitehall. It's no longer in that area.
Got it. And Whitehall's, that's, yeah, okay. All right, here we go. Inspector Tobias Gregson, a tall, white-faced, flaxen-haired man, receives us in his office. I understand that you're helping Holmes in this matter. Well, I must say that Holmes has given me enough help in the past, so I will try to answer your questions. Thank you. What would you please fill us in on what your investigation has turned up so far? Gladly, although it isn't much. We have determined the entry was made through the upstairs bedroom window. We found footmarks in the flower bed by the back porch, and paint scraped off the porch column, indicating that the intruder climbed to the roof and the bedroom window. There were marks on the window where it was forced. We then assumed that he made his way downstairs, thinking the house was empty. When he opened the study door, he came face to face with Mr. Mason, and a fight ensued that ended in Mason's death. The murderer panicked and fled through the study window. That's how we see it.
Okay, so that
Pause.
explains what this palm print.
So they climbed upstairs, went through the upstairs window. So the window that was forced was not the room of the office. The office is on the main floor.
They
Yeah, the
got
office
forced
was the
into
exit.
Yeah, the office was the exit where the palm print was, I'm assuming.
Why bother climbing all the way to window to force your way in, not on the main floor, when the thing that you want is on the main floor?
More likely to have the window opened or unlatched.
They were
Second
climbing in
floor.
because they were the secret lover of the wife. It's all obvious to me.
It's in the society pages.
Seriously, why would you climb in an upstairs window?
Mhm.
Good point.
To go
Unlocked.
visit somebody sleeping.
And so
Climb
that
to
would
the
indicate that
About more likely to be unlocked or something near the upstairs window being unlatched or open or.
Mhm. Very true. That would also indicate that the statuette that is broken was broken just before they left, because they must have touched the statue and then put their palm on the windowsill to climb out, which
Mhm.
seems a little questionable.
Does the coroner? Well, we could.
Well, there's
probably
actually
look
more
over
here. I just paused there because I'm like,
Oh, okay.
I had to pause because I was processing the whole. Okay, I thought the office was in a second story room, and I missed that, so I wanted to make sure we caught that as part of the storyline. There's more. Don't worry.
Okay.
Was anything taken? Was there anything worth taking? Well, according to Mrs. Mason, nothing was taken. But it is true that she is still very upset, and we did an inventory of her jewelry, which was in their bedroom. And she said it was all accounted for. There were some very valuable pieces, family heirlooms. As far as we can tell, the room wasn't even searched. Nothing. What about the rest of the house? Nothing taken. Nothing of any great value. Some silver, a stamp collection, but all in order.
Collection.
Nothing taken, nothing of any great value. So there's nothing of any great value in the house anyways, and nothing was taken. Okay. What about the government papers that Mason was working on that night? Yes, that was our first thought. As for the papers themselves, they seem to be all accounted for. They were found scattered around the room. We assume they were scattered during the fight. We sent the papers to the Treasury, and I have just heard from them that all the papers are in order. Of course, we have not eliminated the possibility that his work for the Treasury was the reason for the murder. We are going to have to talk to the wife if we want the story on that shattered statuette.
Yeah. I agree.
But just to confirm, where is the killing blow on the head? Front, back?
We would have to go talk to the coroner for that one.
Oh, we're not at the coroner yet.
So
No,
we're at Scotland
we just went to
Yard.
Scotland Yard to
Scotland
check up
Yard.
on the papers.
Okay.
Where did he say the papers have gone? They went back to the Treasury?
To the Treasury.
Okay.
To the office of the Treasury, which again, I don't see where we would go there unless it's maybe a government office. If we want to follow up, I'm not. What's weird is I don't feel like they want to give us that option. I feel like we're being cut off from investigating Treasury directly.
We could talk to Mycroft on that end.
That is definitely his expertise. Wait a second. Maybe it's under T. Oh, Treasury. I've been looking in under government offices thinking that's where it would be listed. No, I just had to look up Treasury.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, hey Eric, welcome aboard tonight. We are not too deep into this mystery of a murdered banker. You'll catch up with us quick. So yeah. So do we still want to investigate the body, or are we thinking it's time to follow up with the wife? Because Denozo would always say the wife did it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we need to do both. I'm not sure it matters what order.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go see what the wife has a lead for us, and if everyone's cool with that. Where was she at? Did someone write it down, or do I need to look it up again?
She's at her sister's house.
Did you catch the name?
No.
Okay, I can look it back up again.
It was Edward. Where did I put it? I forgot the last name.
Yeah, that's what we need. There's a lot of Edwards in town. 42WC was the scene of the crime. And Farmer. Edward Farmer. So now we go over here. Farmer. Edward Farmer. 33WC. So 33WC. Wife's location. Okay. Let's go see what the wife has for us. EC. SE. Ah. Ooh. Once again, lots of text. Mrs. Rose Mason, her face pale against the black of her mourning dress, joins us in the parlor. She is a handsome woman in her late 30s. We offer our condolences before asking the deceased accountant's wife to tell us just what she remembers of the previous evening's events. I went to the West End Social Club for my weekly whist game, as I do every Thursday night. I left Oswald alone at home working on the papers he had brought there from the office. He's been so busy lately that he has had time for very little other than work. When I returned home about 10 o'clock, I went immediately to the study. Mrs. Mason almost loses her composure, but continues stoically. The place was such a mess. Books were strewn about, furniture overturned, and there in the midst of the wreckage was poor Oswald. I can't think of who would want to hurt him. He was the dearest man on earth. Why, only last week he gave me a Venus de Milo replica to commemorate our 17th wedding anniversary. We spent our honeymoon in Paris.
Replicas.
We spent our honeymoon in Paris. We often went to the Louvre to see the original. When I saw the statue broken into pieces, the rest of her sentence is lost in her sobs. We're sorry to trouble you at this time. We know it's hard for you, but we only have 1 or 2 more questions. No, please, I want to help. Was your husband expecting any visitors last night? No, in fact, he was looking forward to being alone. He said that he only had a few hours' work left and that he could do the report for Treasury at the bank the next day. Cecil, his brother, was to give us an anniversary party on Friday, and Mrs. Mason is unable to continue. Tearfully, she leaves the room on the arm of her sister.
She's cheating on him. Because he's been so busy lately and doesn't have any time for her. So she picked up a little side hustle. And he was coming in through the upstairs window. But she wasn't home. She was off playing cards. And he found the husband. Or she. And killed him.
I'll let RJ feel
Please.
that one first.
No, I remember reading J. Small & Co. They're a ceramics and replica miniature place in the newspaper.
He had it coming. He had it coming. Welcome
And he
aboard,
ran into my
Bird.
Venus de Milo 27 times.
Oh.
And isn't it funny that like the first thing she talks about is not her dead husband? She's like, oh, and the room is so messy. And then in the middle of the mess, my dead husband. Like, is that the first way you would describe the room of the deceased?
Absolutely.
I'm just saying.
Does her description of the room really match what was actually found?
I thought it sounded like the room was messier. Like maybe she cleaned up.
Oh,
Yeah, that too. It sounded like the way she described it, it sounds messier than it was actually found.
She said there were books everywhere and
Furniture turned upside down.
Yeah.
all
and,
in the back of it. I don't know. I feel like the description she gave is consistent. It's intended to be consistent with what the police found. I'm not sure I believe that she's misleading us on that particular front.
or was somebody still hiding in the room and they left after she came in?
Possible. I haven't found in the paper yet any reference to the statuettes, but I did find
It's Journal 7 in Miscellaneous under West End Social Club.
the next
12
one down.
Sandland Street.
Aha. Okay, because I was just reading the West End Social Club, which has the ladies whist game, ladies and gentlemen whist game, Mondays at 8, Thursdays at raffles are at 8 on Monday. Whist is on Thursday at 7. So there definitely is a game of whist that she was at.
But who plays cards for 3 hours?
I mean, besides us folios.
Well, I mean, whist is the
Not normal
predecessor.
people.
It could take a long time to play a whist game.
Yeah, it's the
I think it was
predecessor
a
of
social
bridge.
event. Yeah.
Yeah, from reenacting experience, I know I'm bringing in Civil War reenacting experience in a Sherlock game, but from reenacting experience, this can take a while to play. And yeah, you were far more social back then than we are now.
You know, I'm going to challenge that last bit just slightly. Despite the fact that we are living in one of the worst pandemics in over a century, we are still finding ways to be social, as evidenced by all of this.
Here we are.
And chat.
And our friends in chat.
And our friends in chat. So
I'm actually able to look at the Twitch screen at the same time that I'm on Zoom, which is like nothing short of a miracle. But I'm like, I don't see any theories from the chatters. I'm surprised.
They may have had, with the whist game, they may have had what they call a social hour first, where you have friends and you're just standing around talking, whatever, sitting around talking, whatever, and then you start to play.
yeah. So I'm not liking the wife so much for the murder.
Yeah, I don't think she did it either. It was her boyfriend.
Does it help to help? Does that help ensure games don't fail because people come in late? Yeah.
Maybe.
The social hour. Oh, the social. Oh, that makes sense. So yeah, the hour gives everyone that might be running late a chance to get in and have a sandwich.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, definitely. That's definitely a feature. There's also the whole just if they're anything like people from the Midwest, and you can't start anything on time. You need at least 45 minutes of pre-game discussion, and then when it's time to go home, you need to have your time to go home conversation, and then your hand in the doorknob conversation, and then you need to have your conversation walking to the car.
Yep.
I mean, it's like telling people the game starts at 7, but it really does start at 8, so people show up.
Yep.
I don't know anybody like that who needs directions. Like faux start times to get there on time. I don't know anybody.
Oh, in her alibi.
No.
Okay, so we're still feeling good about her alibi. Unless she really had like lots of conversations before she left. We do know that we can follow up on something about replicas of statues if we want to. We can follow up with the we can follow up with Mycroft to see if he's heard anything interesting about what the Exchequer is up to that Mason could be involved in. I don't feel a need personally to talk to the brother yet, because I feel like going to the brother is kind of a
Red string theory. But I'm gonna vouch for the ceramics place, because it might be that situation where they're doing some shady business on the side and they had like 2 Venus de Milos and the product was in one.
and yes.
And this Oswald character grabbed that one in accident, and then this guy just comes up like, this is the wrong Venus de Milo, where is it?
There was one that was supposed to have 8.5 pound of heroin in it. This one has air. And Verdelay, thank you for joining the family at Lantern Noir and giving us a follow, because we do all kinds of good stuff, and now you'll get the updates when we go live. So we got your D&D games, we've got our stream games, we have our Monday Night Mysteries. There's always something fun over here on this channel, including Kaylee's birthday stream. She's getting 2 of them this year, one on her birthday and then her official celebratory It's My Party stream.
So cute.
Yeah.
So cute. It's so 2021.
The future of streaming. God help us all. Although, as I'm off to say, I just can't wait for the first time a boy comes over to play video games with her. I just want to be present to see the look on his face when she hands him the controller. And he goes, "Oh, you mean, oh."
We're actually going to play video games.
And while we're paused, thank you for those. There he goes. Thank you for that. For continuing the subscription, Eric. It's great to have you as part of the family. Indeed, Gamer Girl confirmed. She is. She's a chip off the block. She's like a little me. God help us all. Okay. Back to the mystery at hand. We've had a lot of good mini distractions there. We got to do something now. What should we do? What should we do?
Statuette was one of 2 things.
Okay.
RJ said, and the statuette that was meant for somebody else was one that Mason picked up. Or did he commission that particular one and have something put inside it?
Oh.
Dun, dun, dun.
I guess it sounds like we were all very curious. I guess we're heading off to Oakley Street then, huh?
I think we are.
If we're not supposed to, we have successfully convinced ourselves we should.
Right.
So this is 32
Right.
SE.
Parchment with a black handprint on it that says "We know."
What am I doing? Okay, this is the statue shop. Knocking on a door. Does this work? Fun fact, by the way, in London vernacular, it's when you go to call on someone by knocking at the door, you are said to have knocked them up.
Yes, definitely.
Oh, that is terribly offered in American English.
Yes, and Canadian English. I used that turn of phrase last week and said we should go knock somebody up, and Cassandra almost fell out of her desk. Out of her seat. We're gonna what? Wow, loved it. For banning an no, don't be. I'll get back to you on that, Eric. We're not banning in-game actions.
Banning in-game actions.
Yeah, I have all my video game channel awards up and running.
Mm-hmm.
So Eric just redeemed some channel points to mess with our in-game actions.
Oh.
And apparently we're not supposed to knock on the doors.
Mean.
I
Okay, we'll just
headbutt
stand
the
outside
door.
and yell really loudly.
And we have our workaround. Now that's a quality role player. We're not knocking on any doors. We're just banging RJ's head against them until someone shows up. That works. That works.
We'll throw
Why do I
rocks
feel
at
like
the window.
that just fits with the whole...
Yep. And welcome aboard, Anna. Glad to have you hanging out tonight as we work through this. Here's what we find at the ceramic shop. On arriving at J. Small & Co. Ceramics Factory, one of the workers directs us to Aggie Small, who, he informs us, runs the company. She is small and wiry and moves and speaks with authority. After we introduce ourselves, she invites us into a small office cluttered with statuary, miniature reproductions of the world's great art. We are interested in obtaining information on the Venus de Milo statues that your company manufactures. I must say, there certainly has been a lot of interest in those statues. Could you fill us in? Wednesday, a nice gentleman. He said his name was Mr. Hawkins, and that he had his shop in Southampton. Came to the shop and was so taken by him that he wanted to buy all that I had. Unfortunately, I only had 5 left in stock, all of which were purchased. He was so impressed by them that he wanted to know where he could find the rest and see if he could buy them back. I told him I was planning to make more, and if he could wait a week or so, he could have all he wanted. He insisted he could not wait, and I gave him the names of the other buyers. Could you give us this information? Oh, yes. There were only 2. 5 went to Evanson and Company, and 5 more to the gift shop of the British Museum. Have these statues always been so popular? No. My husband made 15 of them 3 years ago, but refused to sell them. Could we speak to your husband? No, he died a fortnight ago.
He died.
We're sorry to hear that. Well, I must say you are probably the only ones. Well, you and the barman at the Red Boar Inn.
Will you repeat where all of those statues went again? So
I
5
would.
went to the gift shop of the British Museum.
5 went to Evanson and Company. 5 went to the gift shop of the British Museum. And the husband made up 15 of them 3 years ago, but refused to sell them. And her husband, who died a week and a half ago, aka a fortnight, had been a frequent guest at the Red Boar Inn.
So like 5 are unaccounted for?
Well, 5 went to one company, 5 went to the gift shop.
Where are the other 5?
And the 5 are still in stock.
Oh,
But that
I thought she
Hawkins
said-
guy wanted 5 and they didn't have enough.
He wanted all 15 of
He
them.
wanted all 15 of them.
and she only had 5 left, but she said those 5 were spoken for.
Right.
Gotcha.
So-
Okay.
Thank you.
Who are those 5 going
Oh,
to?
no, sorry. All of which he purchased.
Oh, he purchased those 5?
Right. 2 weeks, short
Okay.
for a 14th night. You're right. Fortnight is 2 weeks.
Yes.
So he bought the 5 and then got the names of the 2 places the other 5 went.
Should we go to the bar and ask around for this Otkins fellow?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Hawkins.
Plus,
is
we
the-
can get a drink.
There's something going on with these statues for sure.
Yes. How long has our victim been dead? He died last night at 10 p.m., discovered by the wife, who we no longer suspect. Sorry to know.
Until more evidence comes up.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, the 5 that were sold either went to Evanson and Company, and then 5 went to the gift shop at the museum. So we could go to the museum to see who else bought them. We could go to Evanson and Company and see if they have any statues left there. Or we can go inquire about what the husband was up to via the barman at the Red Boar Inn, and somebody better have a wallet on hand because we're probably going to have to bribe the barkeep.
Does the map... Maybe we need to look at a map to see in relation, like where all these things are
Oh, that's a lot of numbers.
in relation to each other. But like, like what if the husband got him at the bar, like won him in a poker game or something at the bar.
Well, he made them.
Yeah.
He
No, I mean
commissioned
like
them.
the dead guy,
Oswald.
Mason, like won him at the bar at a poker game or.
I'm thinking he either bought it at the gift shop at the museum,
That's what I was
would be
thinking.
my guess, or Evanson and Company. What is the Evanson Company?
Did the wife tell us she got the statue for their anniversary?
Yeah, the husband bought it for her for their anniversary to commemorate their trip to the Louvre on their honeymoon. Pro tip, guys, that is actually really smooth. I'm like a little impressed by that move.
Take some notes.
Just
Did we
gonna
get a
put that there?
date for when their anniversary was? No, right?
It'll be later this week because the brother was planning the party for it.
Party.
Oh
Right.
yeah, they were gonna have the party on Friday, weren't they?
Yes. But now they can't on account of the husband being dead.
Yeah.
And that really makes the party awkward.
Yeah.
Gonna
Parting
tell
with-
you.
You're in mourning during Victorian time. That's a big no-no.
Speaking of which, honey, I expect you to continue to celebrate our anniversary even after I have passed. Just cover that real quick.
But
At
did
lea-
you hear me tell you that you need to take notes on how this guy celebrated anniversary?
Oof.
Fair enough.
I'll continue celebrating it in the fashion that we continue to celebrate them.
Which is alternating years buying each other a card.
Yeah.
And the other one going, oh, crap. I didn't know we were exchanging
We're doing
presents this
anything
year. It works. Okay, I don't see Evanson and Company in the phone book under any of the categories, so I'm guessing it's a gift shop of some kind. It's not a department store. And it's not... Okay, restaurants, solicitors. We could go there though, if that's a place we want to investigate. Because at least we know that some time ago they purchased 5 of those statues.
Mm-hmm.
The other option is the British Museum gift shop. Evanson and Company Gifts. It's a gift shop. 22 Northwest.
On there instead of the British Museum. Where would he be more likely to go?
The gift shop. I feel like if you already live there, you're not very likely to go to the museum gift shop.
Oh,
You know what I mean? That's like
Unless
a
you're like
tourist thing.
a student.
Yeah.
Unless you're a huge nerd.
this is also pre-student discounts at the museum gift shops.
Buy your wife's anniversary gift at the museum's gift shop unless you work there or you know specifically that they have what you're looking for.
Yeah, I'm digging the gift shop in general. Not the gift shop, the gifts company, as the
Yeah.
most likely place he went shopping and went. Oh, perfect! This will remind her of our trip to Paris.
Yeah.
Is that a? We're continuing to go down the rabbit hole of the statues.
Yes, I think we should.
I'm digging that. Evanston Co. Gifts, 22 Northwest. Okay, we are now on stop number. This is stop number 5.
Do we have a limited amount of stops?
Well, the way the scoring works, it's 100 points if we answer every question correctly, minus 5 points for every stop we had to make. Now, the stops that Sherlock makes do not count against us, because Sherlock follows the single most efficient path possible. Okay, well, this is curious. Here we go. At the gift shop, where again, we're not knocking on the door, we're laying ourselves in, because it's a shop.
Oh.
Their door's not going to be locked or anything. That's bad for business.
Hey.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll just awkwardly shuffle in there after screaming because I didn't know it wasn't residential.
It's a mixed use space. They have, commercial and residential, like most of London. We browse around the shop for a few minutes as Mr. Rodney Dowsher, the shopkeeper, concludes a sale of a small blown glass bird. Let me try that again. We browse around the shop for a few minutes as Sir Rodney Dowsher, the shopkeeper, concludes the sale of a small blown glass bird to a young bird-like woman. When she leaves, we introduce ourselves to Mr. Dowsher. We are looking into the murder of Mr. Oswald Mason. Among his papers was a receipt from his shop dated March 31st.
Oh, good to know.
There was?
Apparently.
Okay. Can you tell us what he purchased? Oh, yes, here it is, he says as he consults his sales record. He bought 2 Venus de Milo statues. We delivered them for him. Where were they delivered? They were shipped separately on Mr. Mason's instructions, one to Mrs. Rose Mason at 42 Tottenham Court Road, and the other to Miss Mabel Brown of 40 Devonshire. Those statues have certainly proved to be good sellers. I sold the remaining to another gentleman Wednesday. I surely hope that I will be able to get more from the manufacturer. Oh, and who might that be? J. Small and Company. Thank you very much, Mr. Dasher. You have been most helpful. Oh, not at all. Dun, dun,
It
dun.
looks like
The husband's got a side hustle too.
the wife doesn't have a boyfriend, but the husband has a girlfriend.
Or both of them.
One for one to Mabel, and then who did the other statues? Who were the other statues sold to?
The gentleman that probably was also at the
ceramics place.
The ceramics place, trying to buy all of them. But she didn't give us a name.
We're going to follow up on the second statue and find another fucking body.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Do.
Clever,
Winning.
buying them the same gift. Didn't Rickman do that? No, he didn't do that in that movie. That's right.
Okay, so it is time to go to the gossip columnist.
I-
It's time.
Did you know this murdered treasury guy had a side hustle?
And so did his wife.
I
They didn't know about it.
I'll talk 5 points for this. That sounds fun.
I think we should investigate with Miss Mabel Brown. I feel like we are continuing to go down a particular line. He did not buy the same gift and he got busted. Yes, that is absolutely true.
So here's what's gonna happen. We're gonna.
Evanson and Company gift shop reported a break-in Wednesday night. The lock on the back door had been forced open. Nothing appears to have been stolen. The safe in the office had not been tampered with. So they were broken into.
Where was this?
That was Evanson and Company. Reported a break-in Wednesday night. The lock on the back door had been forced open. Nothing appears to have been stolen. The safe in the office had not been tampered with. because at that point, hadn't all of the statues
had been sold.
Where?
That was in the
It's
newspaper.
in the newspaper of 11th.
So, okay, so the day previous, because Friday the 11th is today. So 2 days ago, this individual of whom we know not their name went to follow up on buying up all these statues, bought the 5, went to buy more of them from the store, could only get 3, could only get 3 because 2 had been sold. They have a break-in that night where nothing's taken, which sounds to me like we're going to break in, we're going to go find the sales ledger, we're going to look up where those other statues were sold, and off we go. Which means, yes, I'm pretty sure when we knock on Miss Brown's door, when we bang RJ's head against Miss Brown's door, we are going to discover that she has achieved room temperature.
Yep.
So, if we could, two things.
Achieved room temperature.
We can either go to, let's investigate Miss Brown, and then the tavern, the ceramics workshop had mentioned, because that dude had been asking around.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm digging that. Okay. Or she had her statue burgled. No, I don't think we're that lucky. I think she's dead. Although you never know. Because if she's dead, she doesn't have to tell us about why she got a statue from Mr. Mason. So she actually gets off easy.
Right.
And now it's time for us to burgle the statues.
I mean, except for the whole being dead part. I guess that's kind of a downer in that side of things. It's all relative. And this is now Miss Brown. Who, by the way, there's a Mr. Brown in the book as well. There's a Sam Brown and a Mabel Brown of the same address.
Oh, this is just thick. Like pea soup thick.
Okay, but that said...
It could be her father.
Yeah, or...
Or is she just listed as Mabel Brown? Or she
It's
listed as Mabel
Brown, comma Mabel, and underneath that Brown, comma Sam. So we'll find out for sure what's going on when we get there. We're gonna give RJ a second to get back before we do that.
Well, we need him. We can't, knock on the door without him.
Right, because knocking on the door has been banned. So
I say we pick the lock. Or climb up to the second-story window and then go down the stairs to the office.
I'm gonna I gotta give my child a little warning before bedtime. So maybe
You know
we could
what?
take like a little minute.
that seems reasonable. I'm gonna go put some more ice in my glass. We're gonna take a 5. Let's take a 5, and then we're going to investigate with Miss Brown. If you're here enjoying, please absolutely hang around. We're not going to be gone long, just long enough for us to wet our whistles, visit the John, and send RJ back off again to whatever he was doing. So we'll be about just a short 5-er, and then we're going to be back at it. And we'll see y'all then.
Sorry, I had to disappear for...
Whoop. Okay, we're back, and we're not ready to resume just yet, but I felt unfair to not give. Well, we have 4 Baker Street irregulars on screen right now. Well, 4 and a backup dancer. And I just left. Oh, and I have now received my own pet. I have a pet.
Where did that come from?
Where do you think a little cat with glasses would come from?
Kaylee? Where did that come from? I don't even recognize that.
I have no idea. I almost want to turn my green screen off because when I hold it up, you actually don't see a little green cat. You see shots of Sherlock's office over my shoulder. Yay, green screens! But we have that's Abby, right?
Yeah.
Abby and the jerk.
No, it's Julian.
It's Julian with a beard, Julian, because clean-shaven Julian knows how to behave. That's Julian once he got a beard.
White beard.
Is this like pandemic, Julian?
Yes.
No, that's like season 6. They were tired of having Julian be the Boy Scout wide-eyed, and they thought they needed to toughen him up a bit, so they had him grow a beard. Or Mirror Universe Julian, who was also pretty crazy.
Julian.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but we're not doing DS9 tonight, are we?
No. We're in the Sherlock universe.
Okay, we're all back. We ready to thump against the door of one Miss Brown?
I'd like to climb in through the upstairs.
We are all climbing in the upstairs window.
That is doable. I'm not sure how I feel about that, but we
Are
could
there
do
boot
that.
prints in the flower bed?
Which reminds me, I should have that turned on. My scroll hasn't been updating tonight, and I apologize to Eric and to Verdelay for that not happening. I just realized it had not updated. I don't have the right app open. Sorry.
Oh, just for fun, I looked up some things about the Venus de Milo statue,
Mm-hmm.
and she is 6 feet 8 inches tall.
The real one.
The real one. Yep.
That's a statuesque woman we're talking about.
Mm-hmm. Yep. She is indeed a bit larger than life.
Indeed she is. By the way, don't scoot any more to your left, by the way, Pam.
I know. I'm gonna sit. Gina's gonna sit with me for a little bit and color.
Okay, that'll work. I'm
You know,
just
the
warning
momming,
you.
it never ends.
You're scooting out. Okay, here we go. We are at the door of Mrs. Brown's lodgings. We are met at the door. Indeed, she is completely armless.
Oh.
Oh.
But
Ah.
winning. That Yes.
And by the way, folks, if you're enjoying the humor in the chat right now, just wait till next week's Monday Night Mystery when Verdelay is actually in the show and will be one of our regulars for the week. Okay, we are met at the door by of Mrs. Brown's lodgings by her landlady, Mrs. Quinn. After introducing ourselves, we inquire if Mrs. Brown is in. Yes, she is, poor dear. I've been so worried about her. She hasn't eaten in days, and she didn't go into work today.
Because her boyfriend died.
Has she been with you long? Close to 3 years, ever since she married Sam. It must be hard on her, Sam being gone so much. He's a merchant seaman with Jardines, you know. No, we didn't know. Have you known him long? Oh my, yes, ever since he was a baby. His mother, God rest her soul, was my dearest friend. Sam has been a son to me ever since. Oh, sorry. Sam has been like a son to me ever since Martha passed away almost 10 years ago now. Oh, where does the time go? Here we are. This is the door to Mabel's rooms. Mabel, dear, there are some people here to see you about a poor Mr. Mason's death. I'll be right there, comes a voice from behind the door. Seconds later, the door is opened by a young woman in her early 20s. She has flowing black hair, which emphasizes the delicate beauty of her ivory complexion. Please come in. If you need anything, dear, just ring, says Mrs. Quinn, who has already started back down the stairs. How can I help you? Asks Mabel Brown as we enter the room, and she closes the door behind us. We understand that you have heard of Mr. Mason's death. Yes, this morning, Joanna, Miss Bailey from the office stopped by and told me the bad news. Ned, Mr. Kimball, gave her the day off, and she stopped by to tell me.
Wait, so they work together? Mabel Brown and Mason work together?
How long have you been Mr. Mason's secretary?
Oh.
Oh.
This is so predictable.
3 years, ever since my graduation from Bedford. Do you know of any reason why anyone would want to murder Mr. Mason? Oh, no, he was such a nice man. He was so considerate, always remembering everyone's birthday. Last week, he gave me a lovely little statue. At this point, the tears, as she has been trying to hold back, began to trickle down her cheeks. And last night, it fell off the table and broke, as if it were an omen of his death. Joanna woke me this morning and told me of Mr. Mason's death. As we were talking, I turned and saw the broken Venus on the floor, and it struck me as so sad. With this, she breaks into loud sobs. I'm sorry. It's all right. We understand. We are sorry to have to intrude at this time, but we have to check with everyone who might shed some light on this tragedy. I want to help. Please go on. But the women in here are like real troopers.
Right.
You know? Like both of them are like, no, I can push through this.
They're British.
Stiff upper lip and all that. Do you know of anyone at the bank who might have wished harm on Mr. Mason or anything involving his work that could lead to his murder? No, as I said before, he was very considerate of everyone. He was well liked. His work was mainly routine and concerned primarily with the operation of bank audits. He has been involved of late with some work for the Treasury, but I know little of that. Mr. Cates might know more, but he often did work for government agencies. Excuse me. No, there's nothing I can think of that could cause such a consequence. Well, thank you for your help. We hope you will soon be feeling better. Thank you. I will ring for Mrs. Quinn to show you out. We meet Mrs. Quinn outside the door. She leads us down the stairs. I hope Mabel isn't in any trouble. Oh, no, not at all. Just routine, we assure her. She has had so many problems of late. She and Sam always fighting when he is home, and then being gone for such long periods of time. A hard life for both of them. I heard her crying last night after she came in. I should have tried to comfort her, but I was already in bed. Life is hard. Well, have a good day. Indeed, Victorians are kind of known for that stiff upper lip attitude. Treasury, me, Mycroft. No, so yeah, we were thinking about talking to Mycroft. Although I feel like, okay, here's where I'm at. I'm not thinking this has a lick to do with the Treasury now. Like, I keep feeling like we got something in these statues.
Mm-hmm.
Because she said it fell off the table in the night and broke.
No, it did not.
Didn't see it. She's saying she didn't see it till
The next
the
morning.
next day when she found out that he had died.
That.
So how does she know exactly when it fell off the table? And how does a statue just randomly fall off a table?
It doesn't. It gets pushed by your jealous husband.
Or someone breaks in, effectively breaks it, doesn't wake her in the process, and slips back out again.
Yeah, no. So
So
So now-
husband goes around breaking and buying up all of the Venus de Milo statues, or goes looking for all the Venus de Milo statues to figure out who gave her the statue.
Mhm.
Kills him, and then comes home and breaks the statue at home to make it look like it was some kind of criminal.
I'm like, he's not even hiding his tracks at this point.
There's no sign of a break-in.
But the thing is, there wouldn't have been a sign of a break-in at the Mason's house if there hadn't been a murder.
No, because they forced the window open,
Oh, that's true.
and there
No,
were
like-
in the garden.
He
Right.
came in.
A way for us to search the grounds and see if there are any signs of a break-in?
We would have found that when we went in.
Okay.
Also, if the Venus de Milo was a gift for her, why was it in his study?
The gift was for his wife, and they kept it
Yeah.
in the study.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's kind of the question that I had too, was why did your wife keep her gift in your study?
That's where they have other little statuettes and stuff.
Probably.
Like,
I mean, if the reproduction is 6 feet something,
well, no, it's a miniature reproduction.
I'm
It's a
I'm
statue.
sure. I know.
Okay.
I'm sure. I was trying to be funny.
Just the
That
murder
obviously
grabbing
didn't
a
come
Yeah.
off as that
tall
funny.
woman and
Bonk. We've
Or
kind of,
does it fit with the timeline that so Mabel Brown was gifted the statue and then the wife was gifted the statue and the man Mr. Brown knew that Mabel had a relationship with Oswald. So he was going to go over there and kill the husband or kill Oswald, and then he saw the statue and that just really like enraged. Like that's why he killed Oswald with the statue, because he recognized the statue from his own house. And he's like, whack.
I do like Verdelais suggested the broke into the shop, broke to get the statue. Like I feel like that we've got one person who's breaking in the shop and busting up statues. I also think that a less expensive plaster statuette is not a murder weapon.
And it said specifically that there was a statue that was at, where was it, the coroner's? That
Yes.
was supposed to be the murder weapon.
Right.
No, it was plaster, right?
There are two statues, the murder weapon and the Venus de Milo statue.
Oh, I thought they were the
Venus
same.
No, I don't believe so.
There were like two
No,
identical
there's the Venus de
statues.
Milo one that was shattered on the floor, and then there's a bigger, heavier statue that is at the
Okay, I misunderstood.
or yeah.
Which I think is consistent with the let's keep it in here in the study with all of your other knickknacks and stuff that are kind of cute and fun and conversation pieces on the...
Or
Yeah, why
Or-
not?
jealous husband found the statue elsewhere in the house and brought it into the study to confront Oswald with it.
And then picked up a different statue and
No, threw it on the ground. Bam! I hate you. I hate everyone. Oh, now I don't have anything to hit you with. Oh, look, here's another statue.
I don't like Sam. Plus, I think Sam is at sea right now,
Maybe.
which is kind of a good alibi. I mean, being in
I
the
guess,
middle
yeah.
of the Atlantic.
didn't the
We're not sure. I see Verdelais' comment. Like, we're not sure if something,
Oh, I'm positive they
like
have something in
drugs or
them.
something
It's-
in it.
it's not governor. The landlady said she heard crying last night, right? Or am
Yeah.
I just imagining that?
Nope, she did.
Yeah, that, yeah.
Yep.
But that's Mabel Brown, right?
Mabel Brown
but
was
that's-
crying last night.
Last night, but she only apparently found out this morning, right? About the death.
But she's
I
been
guess
having...
night, but she does say that she and Sam have been having issues.
But he's
So-
at sea right now.
Or is he?
Or is he?
Did she say specifically?
She didn't say. I think we're supposed to assume that he's at sea. We could go to the shipping company and find out,
We could.
right?
If we want to
Let's do
rule him
that.
out, we should go follow up with Jardines and see where and when he's been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does he also frequent a certain, like,
Bar.
Red Hog bar?
We could go there instead. They would also have seen him recently, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what we want to pursue first, and then maybe check up on the alibi for the husband, and just in case we get lucky and at the Red Boar they say, "Oh yeah, no,
He was here last night.
he was here last night."
Yeah.
34.
Sorry, met a mermaid not coming home. You know what I regret is that our friend Sam isn't here, so we can like throw shade on him. Like, what were you doing out at sea, Sam? Were you really there? There's another person we play with sometimes named Sam.
Mm-hmm. The Red Boar is at 34 Southwest. This is the Red Boar Inn.
Sam had to wait for the tonguing to be done, and then he could take his leave and go.
Yeah.
Is Sam a Wellerman?
No, but Sam's gone away aboard a man of war.
Ah.
To me, Sam's gone away. That's another one I'm surprised I'm not finding videos for yet, because that's a good, solid, like, anybody can jump in and add a verse to it.
I'm very surprised, Leave Her, Johnny, Leave Her hasn't been gone yet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still giggling over the whole sea shanty thing. And they're meant to be earworms. The whole point is to give you something to kind of keep your brain occupied while you do the horrible mundanities of maintaining a ship. And to help distract you from the fact that literally you can look in every direction and there's nothing. You know, if the ship were to sink, it would be never before they found you. So, okay.
Fun thoughts.
Wait, what? Did I write down the wrong address? Because that doesn't seem right. It's a place, but I don't think it's a place we're supposed to be.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Well, if it comes up again, it's definitely in the book, but I don't think it's where we want to be. I wrote down southwest. We want to be in southeast. Sorry, guys. Everyone back in the cab. We got to go across the across town. I got the wrong address there. I don't know where we just ended up, but it's not where we intended to be.
Oh, just Google it.
South.
Great.
Just ask Jeeves.
Guys, I'm in the River Thames. Can I get a boat out, please?
You need a water taxi.
Google Maps sent us in the wrong direction again.
Yeah, I'm sure there's an urchin around here somewhere we can pay, which is like, you know, the proto Tom Tom.
His name is Tom
That's
Tom.
why they called it the Tom Tom.
Something like that.
How do you get from place to place? Tom Tom.
Yeah. Tom will tell you, and then we catch up with another Tom. Use the series of tubes. Yes. That'll work too. Okay. The barman greets us amiably and becomes appreciatively talkative after we buy him a pint of bitters.
Yeah.
Ah, old Johnny. He was a wild one. He was. Always expected him to become a violent end. What a bloke he was. What could you tell us about him? Oh, I could tell you lots of stories, mates. The time he had the two women from the circus, and these are not the stories we're interested in. What can you tell us about his business? His business? Oh, you mean that ceramics or whatever you call it shop? I don't know much about that. He didn't seem to spend much time at it. I think he bought it to satisfy his old lady. Seems like she wanted something respectable. As if anything could have made Johnny respectable.
Aha!
What did he do before he acquired his ceramic shop? Geez, mates, I don't know. I only met Johnny 3 years ago when he bought his shop. Now Ned, down at the end of the bar, he knew Johnny a long time. He used to work for him until the old lady fired him a few days ago.
Done. Done. Done.
Found our culprit.
Want me to have him come down and join us? Sure. Hey, Ned, come down here. These blokes want to buy you a pint. Like I said, we grease a few palms here. Ned drains what's left of a drink in front of him and starts down to our end of the bar. He's a small man dressed in well-worn work clothes, which are dirty and patched. By the time he reaches us, a new pint is waiting, and the barman has taken his 4D plus tip from the money we have left on the bar. Gentlemen, this is Ned Blake. Ned, they'd like to know something about Johnny Small. What do you want to know, mates? We understand you knew Jonathan Small before he bought his ceramics works. Could you tell us anything about him? I guess I ain't gonna do Johnny no harm now. Yeah, I known him a long time. We growed up together in the East End. He was older than me, and I guess he got used to taking care of me. I used to trail behind those three musketeers everybody used to call, Johnny, Leroy Eakin, and Nat Cook. I don't know what made him the money to buy the shop. There were tales about the Drummond's bank robbery and other heists. I don't know for sure about any of this, but I know Johnny wasn't always on the right side of the law. And he was a good bloke, always took care of his mates. Gave me a job when he got the shop, and I held that up till last week when the missus fired me. Why did she do that? She never did like me or any of Johnny's old friends that he hired to help out. So when he kicked off, she kicked us out. Me and old Leroy Eakin. He was Johnny's best friend, but she don't want no reminders of Johnny around.
I need to talk to Leroy.
How long ago did he make those statues? Do we remember?
Some time ago.
I believe it was 3 years ago.
Okay.
So early on.
Mm-hmm.
Where was that? That was back at the Statuesque shop, which was 32. This gentleman's name was Mr. Hawkins, which is neither Leroy Eakin nor Nat Cook.
Right.
Although, I'm looking now to see exactly when they were made. Made them 3 years ago. So he made them as soon as they opened the ceramics shop. Whatever happened to the ones he refused to sell? Well, Hawkins bought the 5 that were still at the shop. 5 went to the British Museum, which I'm willing to bet dimes to dollars we're going to get over there, and they're all going to be, they have just sold them.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't see the museum being the kind of place that keeps the kind of records like a small gift shop would.
Oh?
What's the guess for?
Did you say one of the guys is Nat Cook?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In one of the newspapers, is
Good
the
job, Jenny.
Monday, March 12th, 1888. Where? Oh, shoot, I lost it. Where did it go? Oh, the DeVries diamonds never found. This month marks the first anniversary of the daring DeVries diamond theft. Scotland Yard is apparently no closer to discovering the whereabouts of the stolen gems now than they were a year ago. So that would have been 3 years ago.
Years ago.
Nat Cook, who was convicted of the crime and is now serving a sentence in Millbank Prison, persists in his claims of innocence. The manager of DeVries testified that two men committed the robbery and 2 men were tried, but only Cook was convicted. Jonathan Small, his co-defendant, was acquitted. The reward for the recovery of the diamonds continues to be offered by DeVries, but thus far no one has stepped forward to claim the prize.
The
I
diamonds
thought
are
I
in
saw Nat Cook in there somewhere.
So Nat Cook is in jail.
Yeah.
Was in jail.
Was in jail.
Hmm?
Where is he
Yeah.
at? Wait.
If anything, we can head over to the yard and confirm, maybe?
Records would be able to tell us that.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a Nat Cook in the phone book? Because we could go to his old address and see if they have heard anything about him. But I have a feeling that if he was convicted of stealing a bunch of diamonds, in 2 years he's probably not out yet.
Mm-hmm.
And
Probably.
there is no Nat Cook in the book.
Anything in the newspapers about him escaping from prison?
I'm looking.
Okay, so that leaves... Whom does that leave as our potential Mr. Hawkins?
There was a Jonathan Small that was acquitted of the charge.
Right.
Who is the ceramics guy?
Who's
What?
died last week.
Mm-hmm.
And there was Leroy, who is his best friend.
Mm-hmm.
But you would think the wife would recognize Leroy if that was Jonathan's best friend.
Yeah. Well, she recognized Ned Blake, who is the buddy, the little brother type, and recognized him enough to fire him.
Mm-hmm.
And also fired Leroy Eakin. So we know Leroy Eakin is not in jail.
Mm-hmm.
And it would make sense that if
Leroy Eaton might be an alias for Jonathan Small, or whatever his name is.
yeah, the wife might not recognize Mr. Eakin
Mhm.
because he went and laid low after everything went down. How did Small die? Do we know? We don't know how he died. It was not, the wife did not bring it up. I'm going to guess natural causes. I would say, based on the comments about the bar as their primary place of going, perhaps liver failure.
Consumption?
Because there was that one time he had the 2 girls from the circus.
Is there an Eakin in the phone book?
Is there an Eakin in the phone book? I am looking in the phone book now for a Mr. Eakin. I'm also going to read out the questions at this point. There is a Leroy Eakin in the phone book if we think we need to go check with him. So, I don't like starting with the questions because I feel like that's unfairly tilting.
Biases us.
Yeah. So here are the primary questions we need to come up with. Who killed Oswald Mason? Why? What did the Venus de Milo statue reproductions contain? Who stole the 5 sisters?
5 sisters.
Venus de Milo's.
That's my guess. Who was the murderer's accomplice? And then part 2.
Accomplice?
Who was responsible for the shortage of funds at Bacon and Company? What is the distinctive sign of murders ordered by Moriarty? And what was found in the body of Jonathan Small?
What?
Have
I
we?
feel like we're not done yet.
Yeah.
Now, no, this is a 90-minute game. We might have our first Monday Night Mysteries to be continued. But
It sounds like we might need to go to the museum after all and find out what happened to the statues there.
or check in with the jewelry store, because I'm wondering if the 5 sisters refers to 5 diamonds.
Diamonds.
I would want to confirm that.
Okay. That's DeVries.
Are we cool with that?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, to the jewelry store to inquire about the nature of the theft. DeVries.
Oh.
Okay, well, it's not listed by name. Was there an address on the paper?
No.
Of course
I
not.
think it's under jewelers.
Jewelers, there it is. DeVries Diamond Company. DeVries Diamonds, 34 Southwest. Aha! The one that I was about to read, that I was at the wrong location.
Mm-hmm.
Diamond jeweler. Okay. This is the one I was about to read by mistake. So that worked out perfectly then. Let's see. That's southeast. I want southwest.
Oh, shoot.
Shoot.
30th March, Jonathan Small of injuries received in a hit-and-run carriage accident.
Oh, that's how he died.
Run over by a carriage.
Yeah.
Has he been mentioned before in the story and I'm just not remembering that name?
He's in the, in the newspaper.
Mm-hmm.
That's...
But in like any of our questioning and things.
Small is the husband of the owner of the statuary. Ceramic shop.
Thank you.
Someone killed him with a carriage. Yes. Hit and run.
Now, was this an accident?
I think not.
Accident implies no ill intent.
In life, there are no coincidences, my dear Watson. 3 years after the fact, Bernard Nims, general manager of DeVries, still gets a pained expression on his face when the robbery is mentioned. I will never forget that day. It only took 15 minutes and the 5 sisters were gone.
Ha.
We still haven't recovered from the loss. Well, surely they were insured. Insured, of course, but no amount of money can replace the loss of the gems. Each gem has a soul of its own. Soul? Yes, all gems have a soul. No 2 gems are exactly alike. The 5 sisters were a beautiful match, but part of the beauty was the small individual differences to be found in each gem of such a perfectly matched set. Each diamond was 20 carats, a masterpiece of nature.
Wow.
20 carats?
They have never been recovered. No, not a trace. We follow the black market as best we can, but no sign as of yet. Lloyd's offered a reward for the return of the stones. We even offered to go above the amount of the insurance settlement, but no one took up the offer. I did think we had a chance when, what was his name? Oh yes, Nat Cook, when he was arrested. We offered him a reward, even offered to try to get the charges dropped or reduced. He still wouldn't talk, denied he took part of the robbery. How can we be sure he was one of the robbers? I'm sure. I was the one who identified him. It was right before closing time when 2 men entered the shop. They had masks covering their faces. They told me to get the 5 sisters from the sale, nothing else. Just the 5 sisters. They had guns. And as much as I loved the gems, I loved my life more. As I handed them over, they made for the door. Cook held the door open for his accomplice, who held the diamonds. As they were going into the street, they removed their masks. Cook then looked back into the shop, and I got a good look at his face. There's no doubt it was Cook. Then there were 2 involved in the robbery. 3, counting the hansom driver. As soon as they walked out of the shop, they got into a waiting hansom, which drove off at great speed. There were other suspects, friends of Cook, but no proof could be found, and as long as Cook didn't talk, the others were free. 20 carats is absolutely huge. That's 100 carats of diamonds.
Mm-hmm.
Well, why only the 5 diamonds? Why not clean them out? Totally, of everything. Why just the 5 diamonds?
Because those are the big ticket items.
They're probably worth more than anything else in the shop.
True.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're worth more than anything I have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're big enough they could get broken down into smaller diamonds.
True.
Probably be a lot faster just to ask for the 5 sisters and not clean out the shop.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I want.
Okay, so we know it was Nat Cook and
2
what
other
Jen said.
people.
And we assume that so Nat Cook and Jonathan Small.
And Eakins? Is that the guy's
Leroy.
name?
And the last guy, Leroy Eakin.
Yeah.
So we're liking Leroy Eakins for all of this then.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Real quick, how do you spell Eakin?
EAK.
Well, Matt is in prison. Jonathan Small is dead.
Yep. Nat Cook is in jail.
Has to be Leroy.
Leroy Eakin, Eakin. So Nat Cook's in jail.
But I think we need to figure out on Jonathan Small's body, since that's one of those questions. How are we going to figure out what was found on the body? Maybe that'll give us some other clues. We can...
Coroner, probably.
We could go to you think in the morgue?
Yeah.
Maybe.
I'm down with the morgue. Because we do need to come up with what's on the body as one of the... Is that a primary question or a bonus question?
It might be a bonus question.
Oop, those are the solutions. Don't want to look at that.
Yeah, no cheating.
Yep. Although we still have to come up... Okay. Who killed Oswald Mason? We think we know. We think we know why. We think we know what the reproductions contain. We think we know who stole the 5 sisters. We're gray area about the murderer's accomplice.
What if Oswald Mason was the handsome driver? Because in all of the cases, most of the statuettes have been broken, but there have been no other violent interactions.
I think he was just unlucky to have been home at the time.
Yeah.
Well, the Miss Brown was home at the time too.
But she was sleeping in the other room.
She's sleeping in the room.
And he was working late, almost till 10 o'clock.
Okay.
When Victorian sensibility would have you abed by then. So, but we still don't have an accomplice to the... Do we have an accomplice to the murders?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Unless it's Sam.
Who's out at sea currently?
Which we haven't pursued either.
Yeah. Accomplice of the murder, Miss Brown. She would know that the bedroom window would be unlocked.
I think, as much as I like the idea of blaming the mistress, I think she's just a poor kid.
Yeah.
Got wrapped up in this where her boss went shopping, saw these cute statues, thought, well, this will mean a lot to my wife. And while I'm here, it's my secretary's birthday. I should do something kind for her.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't exude mistress to me.
No, not very original of him to buy 2 of the same thing. It's thoughtful for his wife. It's not particularly thoughtful for his secretary if she's also his mistress. To get her something identical like that means something to his wife, but not to her and him.
Yeah.
It would have been something that would have been geared more specific towards his relationship with her if there was something beyond just boss secretary.
Mm-hmm.
I would hope anyway.
Yeah, I'm not averse to that.
So, should we follow up on the morgue or try and visit Mr. Eakins?
I don't like that we don't have an accomplice. Like, I like Eakin for the murder, but I feel like we need the accomplice is what's throwing me, because we know it's not the 4th kid, because he would not be so forthcoming with everything if he was implicated in this. He spilled way too many beans to be in on it.
Mm-hmm.
I kept waiting for them to say he turns and runs out the back door or something when I'm reading that.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's in on it. I don't think the secretary's husband is in on it. It's whoever ran over Small, I guess.
The carriage driver.
To the cabbies.
They may have seen something. If we want to go that direction, or maybe we should head to the morgue and see if we get lucky and get bonus points for the body of Jonathan Small.
Yeah,
and see if there's a tip there, maybe. But that's still like a long shot. Like, we're right there. We just need like one more piece to finish this.
Is there anything else that we don't know yet? Or is that all the questions?
Off the part 1 questions, that's it. We have found no reference to Bacon and Company. No distinctive sign of murders ordered by Moriarty. And we haven't found anything on the body of Jonathan Small yet.
Okay.
So we're We haven't stumbled into anything yet. Carriage is not equal to a handsome. What's the difference between, I mean, cabs are handsomes, aren't they?
You can have handsome cabs, yeah.
Okay. Fair point. Carriage, because carriage has 4 wheels, a handsome has 2, doesn't it?
I think so.
If
Yeah.
not, we're about to find out in about another minute while the lag catches up and Jeff lets us know. If he's not already typing it out.
A handsome
Yeah.
is a horse-drawn rickshaw.
Yeah.
Really?
What?
Okay, yeah, we'll allow that. Interesting. The phrase "a cab" was blocked by the auto moderate.
Ah,
Interesting.
I would not
Yeah.
have thought of that. That maybe that's the thing you call people when you're being mean to them.
That's some sort of slang I don't understand.
maybe it's the whole like defund the police thing.
That makes me feel old. I'm like, there's slang and I don't know what it is.
Yeah, well, that's okay. I permitted it. You're good to go. Just don't post a Wikipedia article about it or anything, because that'll definitely get flagged.
I didn't know the handsome cab was named after its designer,
Mr. Handsome.
Miss Joseph Handsome.
That
Okay.
makes a lot of sense, actually.
So what are we doing? Are we,
I think weren't we going to go to the morgue?
the morgue?
Yeah, that's
Yeah, the one.
All right, morgue it is.
I don't know.
Sir Jasper
We
Meeks.
should always go to the morgue.
Always.
It does make sense to look at the bodies, and we are likely, while we're there, probably to get the 5 points bonus, because my money says that we're going to find out what's up with Small's body. I mean, I could be wrong. We'll find out here in a second. 38 EC. He was an attractive fellow, Mr. Handsome. I doubt that.
Is it?
The Victorians had a sense of humor.
Are the responses when you look up, like when we go to the morgue, is the response a static response? Like, doesn't matter what else we've done in the game, it's a static response.
All of the Sherlock Holmes box games up until the most recent publication are stock answers for per location.
Okay.
Now, the Baker Street of Regulars game has a play sheet you fill in, and then when you get to a location, you then jump to certain paragraphs if you've checked certain boxes on your play sheet.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of wondering.
Yeah, this is the first generation of these games.
Okay.
I think it was first published in '93. So, yeah, and it's good stuff. Okay, Sir Jasper looks up from the report he is writing as we enter. Hello, come in. If you keep company with Holmes much longer, I'll think you soon know more of murder than I. What can I do for you? We're investigating the death of Oswald Mason. Have you done the autopsy? Yes, I did it first thing this morning. I was just finishing the report. Let's see. Body of Oswald Mason arrived at the hospital at midnight, 11 April. The deceased was in his early 40s, in good health. Death was caused by a blow to the side of the head by a heavy blunt object. Death probably occurred in only a matter of a very few minutes. Blood on his knuckles and under his fingernails was of a different blood type than his own. And Mr. Jasper lays aside the papers and looks up. Nothing very exciting or informative, I'm afraid. Thanks anyway. Anytime. And good luck.
was it.
That's it.
Well, how are we supposed to know what's on this body?
No.
I wondered
Okay.
about that because, that's a side answer.
So we need to check with the gossip columnist.
If we're gonna go down that road, we'd have to go after one of the underground. So whoever's gonna try to fence the diamonds. But I also feel like if we're gonna keep digging, then maybe we might investigate. Either we go that direction or we go talk to Mr. Eakes and see if he let something slip.
I know what was found on his body.
What?
Wheel marks.
No.
It's getting late, isn't it? Yes, it is.
She's probably not
Footprints on
wrong.
his forehead and
You could
incriminating
say-
wheel marks on his back.
You could say that Mr. Smalls was very tired after that situation.
Oh,
Oh.
stop. Just stop.
At least it wasn't a drive-by. Clip, clop, clip, clop, clip, clop, bam! Clip, clop, clip, clop, clip, clop.
Wow.
Oh, Lord. And here's the thing. We would not have known that if we hadn't found the article in the paper. And that would, that
Right.
absolutely answers that question. So we got that. We still don't have the accomplice, though. The accomplice in the murders.
Is that our answer? Wheel marks?
Yes. Absolutely. That's like, I'm 100% having, this is like our seventh mystery. And we've replayed two of them now. I replayed one with my D&D group and we accidentally replayed number 6.
Yeah.
Or number 5. We replayed number 5 because
Yeah.
6 that we did last week was new to everybody.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm totally down with that being, that's the answer to that question because we spotted it in the paper as a result of you guys being good sleuths and digging through the paper. We still don't have that accomplice bit though. And I feel like that's where we're getting jammed up a bit. So either we should talk to Eeks, we should check at the prison to see if Cook is still in.
That's a good.
I mean,
Yeah, 'cause maybe he is out.
is there a prison in here?
I'm sure there is. And we don't know anything about Moriarty. Wait, when did this take place?
1890?
Oh,
Why?
What?
blood types were not discovered until 1901. And that's only. I thought not.
Sir Meeks is ahead of his time. You'll be reading his paper.
Yes.
So somebody owed a little bit on their history there.
Yeah.
As happens. Okay, so. What are we doing?
I don't know. Should we check at the prison or should we check and see if
When did H.G. Wells write that one story?
That was in the like 30s.
We don't really have a prison to go to.
don't?
We don't. Now that might be, if we look at the places that would know that, Edward Hall would have information on the trial. Edward Hall, who is a lawyer at Old Bailey's, source of information on trials and legal affairs. But I feel like that's our next best shot to verify that he's still in jail. I'm feeling like it would have been in the stories. That's Mr. Hawkins.
Mr. Hawkins is Nat Cook.
That's my money.
That's what I'm thinking too.
And he is
I'm
the
just-
accomplice.
Scanning the newspapers here to see if there's anything that mentions a breakout at the local prison.
Or paroled. I mean, he's been in jail for 2 years, 3 years.
Yeah.
For a diamond theft where the diamonds were never recovered. At a certain point, you have to let him out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We can go inquire about those records to confirm that he's out. If there's nothing in the paper to suggest he got out.
And then what does Moriarty have to do with any of this? Who answers those questions? Is that Mycroft or is that Sherlock?
No, the connection to Moriarty and all of his backstories would be
Or the underground?
one of the undergrounds. Fred Porlock
Sherlock.
leaves hints that Moriarty might be involved at the toy store. But the problem there is, like, I feel like if we're going to go after that answer, we'd have to, like, we need a hint about what it is that the hint that we're missing with Moriarty's involvement. Because nothing jumps out at me as a sign that these are connected. So we haven't stumbled into that piece yet.
And that bacon and whatever company
We've seen no mention of them yet. Are they in the paper anywhere?
I'm looking through it right now.
I'm wondering, did they like get picked up by the insurance company or something?
Are you looking?
Shortage of funds at Bacon and Company. And we can always go inquire there and see if they have a hint for us. But that now we're starting
They
to
mentioned they. Oh.
Oh.
Was it what was it that the deceased was working on? Oswald. He was working on audits for something, right?
Yes.
Bank audits.
Hang on, let me check my record of where we've been. Excuse me. I think that was Scotland Yard told us that.
Mm-hmm.
So 13 Southwest. Let me go back to the book and see what we find.
So we never really even looked at that.
Yeah, we never went to the bank.
We got onto the statues.
Yeah, we started pursuing because the statues really were a better lead.
Mm-hmm.
This is 88.
No, actually, we don't know. So he's doing work for the Treasury. From that.
Wait, then where did we find out? Somewhere it said he was doing audits of some kind.
Miss Brown.
Miss Brown mentioned that.
I
Oh,
believe
that would
so.
make sense. That would make sense because she would know what he was up to.
But she never got into it. She just knew he was doing audits.
Yep, operation of bank audits. You know, it's possible that there's a connection. Moriarty might be the connection in here in the sense of like it's a 2-for-1. We're going to go have these people go whack. You know, you do this for me. By the way, you can get your gems back. And do me a solid on this whole bank thing where I've been money laundering. But then again, it raises the question, how much do we want to dig into that and pursue it? Because we still haven't ever been to the Office of the Exchequer yet.
True.
So if we're really interested in what's going on with his shenanigans, that might, if we're really thinking we want to pursue up the bank side of it, that would be where we would have to go next. Because we've been following the murder. Which I feel like we've locked in now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel pretty good about the murder. You know me, I'm a completist.
You are a completist. Absolutely. We are, however, coming up on we are now in the 11th hour of our case.
No, it's only 10:37. We got like a half an hour.
Wow.
Ba-da-ba.
You know what? If this premium humor does not get us more subscribers, nothing will bring them. Nothing.
You know, I'm double checking the newspaper that was mentioned the Sisters Diamonds, and there were two other mentions of jewel thievery. One was a daylight robbery that happened, and then the other one is a suspected international jewel thief was found floating in the River Thames. He was strangled to death.
Yes. That goes back to the old cases because that gets.
Those are the old cases.
That's an arc that gets covered in cases I think that was the case 5 or 4 ended with that he was the centerpiece of it.
Okay.
Possibly. But it's been so long I don't remember all the details of how it connects in. But yeah, there's another ring of jewel thieves.
It's a terrible time to be in London.
No,
so I'm guessing back then the DeVries diamonds were supposed to be a red herring or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
They very much
yes. Oh my gosh, that's right. I remember being angry about that. Like, oh, let's go check here because they've had a diamond theft. Like,
Yeah.
yes, but it has nothing to do with the one that we're dealing with. It was like, oh. Well, sometimes a cigar is a surefire way to get cancer. Remember that, kids. Don't smoke. The more you know. CBS cares.
Oh man.
That would be my money. If we really want to, if we want to go after the more connections, it's either we talk to Eakin or to see if he spills any beans to see who Hawkins might be. We go to the Old Bailey to look for records to see if Cook is out or if there's any record of the trial. Or we head to the Exchequer's office and see what they can tell us about the papers that are all in order. Those are where I'm at.
I'm thinking we grill the accomplice.
Go after our current suspect. Lean on him a little bit. You and me wait in the hall. We'll send the girls in.
Sure.
Pretend we don't hear anything.
They just come back out with like bruised knuckles and a bent purse. All right, guys, we got the info.
Pam comes out. Didn't you go in with a parasol? I did go in with one. Where is it now? He needed a colonoscopy.
Oh, lantern, man.
I notice you're not saying you wouldn't do it. Just saying.
Well, I mean, you could use a parasol as a weapon.
As she very daintily tries to avoid confirming whether or not she ever has. Okay, so we are off to Mr. Eakin's flat. Is that the plan? Or do we want to head to the... It's either that or the Bailey to see if Cook is still in jail is where I'm at. And I'm not hearing a lot of other suggestions yet. I feel like we're starting to hit that wall.
I don't know. Or the bank. Or, I don't know.
Was that Miles now on the kitty cam?
There's Miles now.
Oh,
See him patting for pets.
All the lantern cats are gonna make a... Oh, Cats Noir
There it is.
are making an appearance.
Chat noir.
20.
Cats Noir.
Chat noir.
Okay.
Le Chat Noir. There's already a poster for it.
also, periodically, a disembodied hand that reaches over and pets the cat and then disappears.
Best.
There's a
Like
Best. And it's like a little disembodied hand. Even
That was
better.
just a soul.
It's just a soul.
Okay, so is it where are we going? Is it for sure Eakin or is it the Eakin Exchequer or the Bailey? Right now I'm writing down Eakin, but are we confirmed?
I'm gonna say yes.
Okay, let's see what he has to say for himself.
I think all three are kind of equally good options at this point.
Yeah.
Oh, also, by the way, my child is still awake. So
Oh.
This is the big child, so he's allowed to slip you.
Oh, that's the big child.
Oh, there he is.
Hey, Xander, it's a little hard to tell from the hand.
Yeah.
Here we
There's not
go.
a lot of visual reference.
He's got a lot to say. Yeah, I know John Small answers Leroy Eakin to our question. Leroy is a small man with a muscular build of a laborer. I don't see how this has anything to do with you. We would just like to ask you a few questions. We are trying to ascertain if there might be some connection between Mr. Small and the murder that took place last night. Boy, I'll tell you, poor Johnny. Here he is dead a fortnight and being accused of a murder from the grave. When are you going to leave the poor man alone? You people hounded him all his life, and now you won't let him rest in peace. You don't understand. We're not trying to implicate Mr. Small. It's just that our investigation has led us to J. Small and Company, and we're trying to gather information and see how it fits into our investigation. Then it may be Johnny's old lady that's involved. Jeez, I'd do anything to get that bloody old bat. I still think she had something to do with Johnny's death. Oh, we were under the impression that Small died under natural circumstances. Yeah, well, that's what Aggie would like everyone to believe, but I don't. I went to St. Thomas Hospital and tried to talk to the doctors, but they wouldn't talk to me. So there was no reason to suspect foul play. Well, I'll tell you what's foul. Aggie's small, that's what. Is that why she fired you? Because you accused her of something to do with her husband's death? That's one reason. Her and Johnny didn't get along too well. She blamed a lot of his troubles on his friends. She felt they had led Johnny astray. And had they? Nobody led Johnny anywhere he didn't want to go. Sure, Johnny was wild, and I'm not saying he didn't break the law now and again, but growing up in the East End didn't give you much respect for the law. Do you know of any crimes Mr. Small might have been involved in? Hey, look, I told you I'm not interested in talking about the rumors in Johnny's past. I can see you're only interested in the lies about Johnny. I've said enough. Now get out. Can you tell us how to find Nat Cook? No. And the door slams in your face.
Uh-oh.
I still like
I
him
think
for it.
Huh?
I still like him for it.
I think he's just trying to divert attention from himself.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll tell you where to find Nate Cook. He's upstairs.
There's one other lead we haven't followed up on yet. If we don't go, we still have the Bailey as an option.
Mm-hmm.
This is how you end up with a score of negative like 10, by the way. Just saying.
Yeah.
You start running down leads that you just to be sure. There is an L. Hawkins in the book.
In what book?
The phone book.
Directory.
Oh.
So we can inquire as to someone who was using that name to buy the statues. I still say it's an alias for, well, okay, I say that. Maybe if okay. Thinking out loud. Eakin, Smalls, and Cook pulled the job. She knows all of them. She knows what Cooks looks like because he went to jail. We also know that Eakin used to work there, along with the other guy, the fourth guy. Which means there's no way any of those guys walks in under an assumed name. So if we think Aggie's on the level, there's our accomplice, Mr. Hawkins. So Mr. Hawkins and Eakin get together, round up the statues to get the diamonds back. Now that Johnny's gone, there's nobody to, he's hid them in there because he made them to hide them. He made 15 to make it harder to know which one was which. That's where my money's at. And Hawkins is just somebody that got to know Eakin and talked him into going back to get the diamonds again.
Okay.
But how did they meet?
That's not one of our questions.
Currently have zero evidence.
We don't need to answer that, though.
No, but I want to know how Moriarty gets involved.
Anything from the peanut gallery?
Yes?
Comments,
Gonna
comments,
use
comments.
the 5 diamonds to focus a super laser.
What?
The laser.
Oh, to focus the lightning bolt in order to charge the body. Gotcha.
It's alive.
We'll pull in a little Mary Shelley there. Also Victorian. Also kind of crazy.
Do we want to go to the treasury?
I do, but I don't. I feel like for what we've been charged with, it's not something we should be doing. We'll find out about what happened at the treasury in the epilogue. Because remember, we always learn everything in the epilogue. We don't have to get all ourselves. We've been charged to investigate a murder. I'll let you guys make a final decision. But I'm leaning heavy that we have solved the murder.
Okay. I'm okay if everybody else is okay. I'll live.
What
I
do we
hate to
think?
see that like time is entering into my decision also.
Yeah. There is a certain fatigue that starts to set in after 2 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll put out the sketch pad here and write down what we got. Let's see, get this out of the way. So, I mean, unless you guys want to keep going, I'm not going to stop us from saying let's dig deeper.
Do we vote?
I think if anyone speaks with conviction, we're going to keep going.
Okay.
Everybody is silent.
We're all silent.
Everybody's like,
I gotta get the child to bed. Eventually.
Yep. Okay, so killer. Question 1. Question 2 was why. Question 3, what do they contain? 4, who stole? And 5 is the accomplice. And then our part 2 questions. Who was responsible for the shortage, which we really don't have any clue. We don't know how Moriarty is involved, which is killing Jenny. And then found on the body.
The gossip columnist don't know.
We can check the gossip columnist.
Wait, just for Pam.
Just for Pam, I'm down with that.
Because we got backstory for those who weren't with our group last week. Like there was so much information. I know I said this at the beginning, but just reminding everyone. There was so much information that the gossip columnist had. It was like frustrating.
yes, and it didn't really even
Had, like,
seem like
nothing
the
to do with
columnist
gossip.
would have had anything useful.
And
to say.
they were like a linchpin of the story. So now I'm convinced the gossip columnist knows everything.
1 paragraph.
Oh, nice. I couldn't help myself, Rob. I couldn't help myself.
Langsdale Pike seems surprised at our question. Oswald and Rose Mason were, to state it simply, the most boring couple in London. Mrs. Mason was a thoroughly mediocre whist player, and Oswald rarely showed his face at social functions. In that regard, we should figure ourselves lucky since, from what I understand, he was a dismal conversationalist, and he laughed at all the wrong jokes. I can't imagine the man inspiring someone to murder.
Oh my gosh, that's it?
That's it.
Well, that was basically useless.
Well, at least I won't bother you about it anymore.
It does, however, definitely put to rest the possibility that he was getting swanky with the secretary.
Yeah.
She clearly, a young lady of her demeanor, could do better than, what was the quote?
A mediocre whist
A
player.
dismal conversationalist who laughed at all the wrong jokes.
Those dudes still seem to snag young women, I'm just saying.
Fair enough. Okay.
Especially when I was around that age, friends of mine. So.
Or was it Hawkins as the murderer?
No.
He was the one trying to buy up all the statues.
Mm-hmm.
He's the accomplice that nobody will recognize.
He could have been the cab driver.
The getaway driver?
Yeah.
And Smalls wasn't even involved. How did Smalls get them if he wasn't involved in it?
Oh, what's it? So there was the first guy who was convicted.
Cook.
Smalls was there. Cook was there. Smalls was there, and then their
Maybe-
third person that we heard from the jeweler, who was the hansom cab driver. But it
Mhm.
was only reported 2 people were.
And Hawkins ran over Hawkins.
We should have checked with the cabbies.
We still can. We're not done.
Yeah, Hawkins because he was the cab driver.
Or we go knock on Hawkins' door. I'm sorry, bang RJ's head against Hawkins' door and
All right, RJ.
see what he's got.
Okay, I got a hard head.
Good thing.
No, I don't think we need to confirm it.
You think you're good at saying it's him?
I don't know.
Because I feel
I
like,
don't
okay,
get to follow up on the treasury, so
Hawkins, why? To get the diamonds back. What do the statues contain? The diamonds.
Diamonds.
Who stole them? Hawkins,
Hawkins.
Small,
Wait.
and Cook.
Yeah. Yeah.
The accomplice in the murders.
Oh, and the murder. Shoot. Could we say Small's wife because she might have known the diamonds were in there? No.
Could Eakin have been the accomplice? Can it?
Tire tracks.
Kaylee was the accomplice. Well, otherwise you're going to get charged with murder.
Okay, I think we have to go hit up Hawkins, or we have to do some more digging to get that accomplice in the murders. Unless we think it was Eakin.
I don't know. He was pretty closed-mouthed about things.
Yeah.
Or was it Nat that got out of jail?
I feel like that would have come up.
Okay.
I'm either thinking we need to talk to Hawkins or that's all I got now. It's like we need to see if there's any leads there as to who he's working with.
I feel like if we go over to let's try out Hawkins. Blah.
I did not write down the society columnist, by the way. I don't think we're going to count that one.
No, that was a freebie.
That was a freebie for Pam.
Thanks, y'all.
And you know
Thanks,
what?
y'all.
If it had been more than one paragraph, I would have said we got to count it because so there's only one Hawkins in the book, and we're assuming he gave his real name. 'Cause I don't know what we're going to do if we get there, and it's a fake name, an alias, yeah. 'Cause I have no idea how we're going to track him down after that. 11SE Hawkins. Okay, 11SE. Here we go. These are the SEs. That's 34. That's so bollocks.
Oh boy.
Fake name. Our knock is answered by a young man with a pleasant, albeit unremarkable features. Mr. Hawkins? Yes, can I help you? Mr. Hawkins asks with a puzzled look. Did you, by any chance, buy some statues at Evanson Gift Company gift store the other day? No, I certainly did not. Never even heard of such a store. Sorry to bother you.
Yeah.
Crap.
So then should we find out if Cook is still actually in jail?
To the Bailey.
Bailey. We're just gonna do this rapid fire. Let's go.
All right, to the old Bailey.
-15. Here we go.
But we're gonna get it on our own. Well, there's also a certain amount too. The gamer in me is like, well, wait a minute. If we get these wrong, we don't get the points. So how many points are we gonna throw at trying to get them right to recover those lost potential points?
Now we're just trying to come out even.
Yeah, because we still don't. The thing is, now we know Hawkins is a fake name.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't know who the killer is, unless we think it's Eakin. But we still don't know who Mr. Hawk. I mean, I guess if we put
Hawkins,
Eakin as the killer,
he could have been the handsome driver.
the getaway driver.
Yeah.
He could have been. Because we think he's the one that drove over Smalls, but he seemed... Okay, here's the problem I have with that theory. He seemed too casual about the world being cruel to his friend after having run him over with a cab.
Mm-hmm.
We could check with the underground.
Criminal Underground or Moriarty style?
Criminal.
Could do that. Is that better than the Old Bailey?
I don't know. I'm just throwing out suggestions.
Well, we said we were doing the Old Bailey. Let's keep going.
All right.
We're on a mission now. We're hoping to see if Cook is still in jail, right?
Yes.
So
Yep.
36 EC. WC EC. Edward Hall remembers Johnny Small, Leroy Eakin, and Nat Cook. They were petty criminals. Did it for fun and nothing else. No one took them seriously until a few major robberies 3 or 4 years ago. They were among the prime suspects, but there was insufficient evidence for a conviction or even an arrest. Then Cook was caught in a jewel heist. That broke the gang up. I haven't seen any of them coming through here since then. Sounds like Cook's
That's
still in
it?
jail. That's it. We have no leads on Hawken, whoever he might be. And we think whoever he might be is our killer.
What were the 3 names that he said? It was Cook, Small, and the last one.
Eakin.
Eakin.
So that definitely implies, like, I feel like the accomplice is Eakin. No. So if it was Small and Cook, and maybe they left Eakin out, and somebody else was the one who did the robbery, and was the one that ended up the getaway driver who then ran over Small.
Mm-hmm.
He's saying they were doing this just for fun until the
Big
last
job.
they started doing bigger heists.
Yeah.
So I think at some point they somehow got involved with Moriarty in some way or another.
Mm-hmm. They upped their game.
Yeah.
But I feel like I feel like we've hit a dead end. Like, I can't think of anything else to pursue either.
Someone mentioned Smalls' wife. Maybe we can re-question her, knowing the information we know now. Is that possible?
Yeah. Well, let's see.
Yep.
She's in the phone book,
Oh.
and it's not a location we've been yet.
Hmm.
Question her at home?
Okay.
Ooh, Aggie Small, 15 Southeast.
And it's gonna be a paragraph.
Probably.
She's not at home.
She's at work.
He's
You know,
on vacation.
I'm not going to lie. I would not be shocked if that's the case, because they really do. They don't want you to have too many chances at clues. Minnie Race, the landlady, is busy sweeping the hallway dust from the front door, where it momentarily rests upon the scoop before the April wind picks it up and redeposits it back in the hallway.
Ruh-roh.
Be careful. Be careful. Don't be tracking dirt into me house. What's it you be wanting? We understand Mrs. Small is one of your tenants. That she is. But she at work now. Ever since her no-good husband died, she's had to take care of the business. Not that crumb was ever much help to her, always coming home drunk and beating her. Aggie lost nothing when she lost him. I say, and we're all the better off with the likes of him gone. He never did a day's work in his life. Aggie did, all the while Johnny and those bums of his be sitting in the pub all day. Never did an honest day's work in his life.
Is that
Yeah.
all?
That's it.
So I guess that was another way to go to the pub or.
Yeah,
Back
to
to-
go either start checking pubs or to go to the factory, which is where we went directly. So we skipped having to do that step because we went straight to the factory at the beginning. That's where I feel like I feel like we're just either we're overlooking something or we should know something because we've skipped a lot of the interim steps because we had some really good early steps.
You could always go to the museum and see who bought the statues from there.
Good. See if we can
Yeah.
get some from
But-
there.
The only thing tied to the statues we haven't pursued yet. Then I think we may have to declare we have hit the
A dead end.
the limits of our knowledge. We're gonna have to just make a guess. $38. Unless we want to check in with get a hint from Mycroft maybe.
I feel like he's more likely to give us a hint about the
The money laundering or whatever it was.
yeah.
Watch is gonna tie in to what Oswald was doing.
Yeah, we did not go to the bank or to the exchequer.
Yeah.
We still could if we think that's connected somehow. And that's-
I mean, since he specifically asked us to figure out if it was somehow connected with his work. But we know that it wasn't because the diamonds were hidden in the statue, which,
Mhm.
if he was doing audits, had nothing to do with that.
Okay. We have leads. We can knock this out now, but we're gonna hustle.
Okay.
Yes, we received a shipment of statues from J. Small Company. I remember it well. 5 reproductions of the Venus de Milo, as a matter of fact. We sold the last 4 today, all to the same person. A beautiful young lady with long red hair and fair skin who gave her name as Mrs. Smith. I'm sure that I've seen her on the stage, though not under that name, but for the life of me, I can't remember what her name is. Do you know who purchased the other statue? Why, yes, I do. Mrs. Smith asked the same question. It was purchased by Dame Smedley on April 3rd.
Dame Smedley sounds familiar.
Is there anything in the paper about redheads on stage?
There was a bunch of theater stuff that I perused for a moment.
Skim the theater sections. How does the society columnists not know about this?
It was I think it was one in the previous newspapers.
Scroll, 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 scroll.
CBD, mummy, house, CBD. Personal marriage, birth. Entertainment and C. She was on a stage, correct?
That's where he believed he had seen her. It's not in 7, is it in 6?
I've
Which
got
is
a hit on
zero.
March 5th.
The previous year?
Yeah. Entertainment and see. Did they mention which theater? Because there's a couple of things.
No. And we would need some...
Name?
Yeah, we need... She's obviously not Mrs. Smith any more than it's Mr. Hawkins.
Because the 2 leads I see here is Miss Minnie Cavill, London song sensation every night at the Elephant and Castle. And
Smedley. Dame Agnes Smedley. Well, perhaps the dame has recognized her?
Possibly.
That's the only other lead we've got. Unless we want to go hit up the Smiths,
No.
of which there are many.
Which there are many.
And probably that's not her name.
Probably not.
47.
I'm seeing Elephant Castle a lot here.
Plus, we have to remember, if we go back, I mean, the most recent case was a year ago. So there's a lot of the stuff in the paper is not going to be relevant either, unfortunately.
What places? New sheep. A new species of sheep.
Focus.
I know.
We need to figure out who Mrs. Smith is. Because I feel like...
We could just go to the theater and see.
I
Because
think there's a number of theaters, unfortunately.
Yeah. There are no less than...
32 different theaters.
Almost. Well, there's the Elephant and Castle is a theater. But there's also the Allegro, Apollo, Covenant Garden, Drury Lane, Haymarket, Lyceum, Olympia, Princess, and Royalty. So that's a lot of stops trying to track her down just on the I saw her on stage. I'm thinking she might give...
Sorry.
Smedley might have the name.
Smedley might.
I feel like that's our next best lead if we're going to keep running this down. And not just put Mr. Hawkins and Miss Smith as our killer and accomplice. Because last I heard, there was a Smith in Port Royal, but I'm not entirely sure that was accurate either.
Red hair.
Well, that's a dud.
Didn't we have a red-haired actress in a previous...
Well, here's the good news. That's a dud. I won't even read it out loud. She still has the statue. It's safely resting under a glass bell.
Maybe that's because all the diamonds have been found.
Because there were only 5 of them. Once you've got your 5, you don't need to keep looking.
Yeah.
Dame Smedley was lucky enough
that she wasn't.
Yep.
And we're back to we don't know who they are.
Do we want to give Elephant and Castle a shot? Because there's just multiple. We know it's a woman, and there are 2 hits I see so far.
Okay.
With that.
We're running out of other leads, and we still feel like we haven't solved it. We don't have a name anymore.
Write it down.
No, we don't need to go to the Elephant and Castle.
No, okay.
I can confirm there is no entry for 13 SE in the guidebook.
What about the Apollo Theater?
Apollo Theater, 19 Northwest.
She Stoops to Conquer is there. Although that might have been a year ago.
Oh, that's it. Nope, not that theater neither.
Okay.
Well, this is one way to go
Oxford
down the
Music
list.
Hall.
Which one?
Oxford Music Hall. Miss Violet Blues sings her heart out in the brightest new songs of the year throughout the month. Admission from 1 shilling.
Where is it?
It's in Friday, April 11th, 1890. Under miscellaneous.
Where? Oxford Music Hall?
Yeah, maybe.
13 Northwest. Oh.
Yay!
It's short. It sounds like you're looking for Violet Blue, responds the doorman. That's her on the poster. Beautiful woman, isn't she? She's not on the stage tonight. Wasn't yesterday either. Do you know why? Manager said she's ill. Sandra Gamble is her stand-in. She's a real beauty herself. You should catch the act. You won't be disappointed. Are we off to Miss Blue's abode?
Let's run down this lead.
Friends, I need to run.
Oh no.
Let me, hang on.
Go,
I gotta run.
Go do the thing. We'll let you know how it turns out.
Okay.
Okay, so while we're running that lead down, I'm going to take a second to reset the screen because it just went completely cattywampus when she left the call. So give me 10 seconds to set this up. We really are at the end. I think we're going to, it's 11:15 local time. And I do believe we are starting to bump into we have tried everything there is to try. And we're not finding wins yet. Let's see, this is table equal focus. Pam. When did it figure that this was going to happen? Give me a second to lock this in. Okay. What?
Oh, Xander's trying to find bugs, and there are no bugs.
Animal Crossing?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's got to find 3 more? I think so.
Oh, and I have it locked. That's why it didn't move. Downside to the capture here is when someone leaves, everything goes nuts and gets really broken. Which is nuts, too, because last week we knocked that thing out. We were, like, right on time. And this week we are just struggling. Okay. That's done with that. And then I need to take and do this. That's the one. Bink. Okay. And that. Problem solved. Okay, we ready to check in on Miss Blue?
Mm-hmm.
Now that we know we have a lead with her, hopefully she says something about her accomplice. Do you think she will? I don't think she will.
I'm not feeling very optimistic at this point.
Then we enter, and Moriarty's drinking some tea with Miss Blue, and
Oh, God.
folds itself into a neat little handkerchief.
Yep.
I'm going to feel this in the
He's
morning.
got the papers that prove where the money went. A nice little envelope with our names on it. And there's paint chips under his fingernails.
Why am I not? It's 40.
Still plaster marking on the palm, like, you got me.
Yeah.
49 EC. Alfie Kent, the doorman, informs us that Violet Blue does have rooms here, but she's not in at present. A Bob convinces Alfie to show us Violet's rooms. You gotta love the Bobs. As we enter Violet Blue's rooms, we're immediately struck by their chaotic disarray. Near the fireplace grate lie the scattered remains of at least 10 Venus de Milos. On a nearby table are 2 wrapped packages bearing the label of the British Museum, which, when opened, reveal another pair of Venus statues. A check of the bedroom shows the dresser drawers open and empty. The wardrobe has been stripped of its contents. The remaining 3 odd shoes and a faded housecoat are the only indicators of the part occupant's feminine gender. If it's Miss Violet UB1, I might be able to help you out, mates. Another Bob to Alfie, and his tongue begins to wag. Oh, that's money, not an actual cop. Miss Violet left about 20 minutes ago in the company of a young gent. Quite a hurry they was in. I'd say maybe trying to catch a train. I was putting their luggage in a four-wheeler, and I hears a young man tell a cabbie to take him to Waterloo Station.
So the accomplice is Violet Blue.
And we are, I'm assuming, hailing a cab.
Waterloo.
Trying to apprehend the criminals.
Catch them red-handed.
Absolutely.
Pam's going to be kind of bummed.
Waterloo. Couldn't escape if I wanted to.
Okay, let's see. We were like
Can't actually
so
catch them.
close. And oh. Constable Parks is staying at the entrance to the station. He recognized us as we get out of our hansom. You're a little late, mates. Just missed all the excitement. Mr. Holmes and Inspector Lestrade just left with two reluctant companions. A young man and woman they were. And what a howl that woman put up. She was sure upset, she was. The young man tried to make a run for it, but only got as far as the waiting arms of one Dr. Watson.
Even when he wasn't working on the case, he's a step ahead of us.
I know!
That's frustrating.
Which I feel like that has been translated as a you ran down so many if you run down these particular leads, the case is over.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do we say for the killer? We like Violet Blue as the accomplice. Who do we think the gentleman was?
Well, it's Hawkins, but who is he actually?
Deacon.
Yeah, because they said a young man. He could have been just playing dumb.
Or could be.
Hawkins could not be part of the original gang because Aggie would have recognized him.
Right.
Okay.
And we know you'll need more than one handsome. They're small. Fair enough.
Don't worry, just stow me on top like luggage.
Hang off the back.
And the other young man who we have run into, Mabel's husband.
But was Small's wife there when he got run over by the?
No.
Oh, he wouldn't have been driving the cab either, necessarily.
True.
We never found out if Sam Brown is for sure at sea currently.
We never did.
And he's another young man that has been mentioned.
Ooh.
And he would recognize the Venus statues no longer being... All right, I'm down with it.
All right.
And here's why I'm down with it. He would recognize the statues.
Mm-hmm.
He saw the statue. He remembered what was going on because he was the driver. He was the getaway driver.
Who's Sam?
Yeah.
And he
There's
broke
no
the statue last night and left, and that's why Miss Mabel was crying.
No
Yep.
sign of fourth entry in her home.
Yep.
Right.
Because they've been having fights because he's figured out what's going on. He wanted to know where she got the statue. It was a gift from my boss. Because he's thinking Smalls is never going to let these statues out of his sight.
Mm-hmm.
But now that Smalls is dead,
Because he killed him.
all of them go out.
Okay. We've
Broke
got...
statue in his anger. She's crying because she's upset. He goes out.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Let's see how badly we did. Well. Here are our friends now, Lestrade says. As Holmes says Holmes, as he is Inspector Lestrade of Scotland Yard, stand flanking Errol Hawk and Violet Blue, just in front of the barrier at Waterloo Station. It was a pretty problem, as my instincts told me this morning, Hawk here, for all his personal fastidiousness, was a most untidy thief and a brutal murderer. Errol Hawk succumbed to the lure of the DeVray diamonds from the first moment that his cellmate at Millbank Prison, Nat Cook, told him of their whereabouts.
In the personal ads, there is a note that says, "Errol, welcome home, Violet."
Oh.
Despite the death of Jonathan Small, his partner in the 1887 diamond theft would lead to the dispersal or destruction of the Venus statues, Cook found himself forced to take on a new partner. Just 9 days after Small's death, Hank was released from prison, where he'd been serving 2 years for burglary of a lady's jewelry box. He made straight for home to Miss Violet Blue. Having reassured himself of her devotion, he set about laying his plans. The next day, he went to J. Small and Company to claim the prize, only to find but 5 of the original 15 statues. He purchased them, and posing as a Southampton dealer of objets d'art, he learned from Miss Small where more of the statues had been sold as a precaution, lest the bundles being now carried did not contain the treasure he carried. He took them to Violet's rooms, where they together broke them to pieces in vain. Errol then plunged in devising a scheme to track down the others. The next morning, continues Holmes, drawing on his disreputable Blackbriar, Hawk went to the Evanston and Company gift shop, where he purchased the 3 Venuses still in stock and learned the other 2 had been sold. Unable to convince the manager of the shop to reveal the names, he resolved to get his information by reverting to his old trade of burglary. Entered the shop that night, took down the names of the addresses Mrs. Oswald Mason and Mrs. Mabel Brown from the shipping register. Having spent the entire day applying his actions, Hank arrived at the Mason home in a state of considerable agitation. He entered through the upstairs bedroom window into the house that he thought deserted, until he saw a light in the study. He approached the door in much the way Mrs. Mason did upon her return. He saw Oswald Mason with his back to the door and the counterfeit Venus on the table, only a few steps away. At this point, Mr. Mason became aware of Hank's presence, and a fight ensued that ended in Mason's death. After Hawk made sure that Mason was not going to give him any more trouble, he went to the corner table, grabbed the Venus, and smashed it on the floor. As he was sifting through the rubble of the broken statue, sounded the door, seeing the diamonds were now in the Mason's Venus, he saw no reason to prolong his stay, opened the window, threw open the shutters, and slipped out. Inspector Lestrade beams when Holmes adds, It thus would appear that Scotland Yard was correct in its conclusion the killer had been surprised by Mrs. Mason's return. Lestrade mumbles something to himself, however, as Holmes continues, Unfortunately, they missed the obvious fact that it was only the Venus for which the burglar had come. With one murder done that evening, Hawk was not ready to let anything stand in his way of success made for Miss Mabel Brown's house. He climbed to the roof, and in the pattern of entry which made him such a spectacular menace to the fortunes of wealthy matrons before his arrest, he gained access through a second-story window. Mercifully, he found no one at home. Descending the stairs, he located Miss Mabel Brown's facsimile. Not wanting to be seen on the street carrying such a thing, he smashed it there. Again, foiled. One can only imagine the fury, lacking in remorse, which filled his heart at that moment. Holmes interrupts his narrative and casts a contemptuous glance at the now downcast Hawk, slumped against Lestrade beside the sobbing Miss Blue. As soon as the museum shop opened, Hawk was there, purchased the other 4 pieces on the shelves, and also learned that the ominous fact that the 5th statue had been sold the day before. Hardly had he arrived back at Violet Blue's flat, but they were both tearing away at the wrapping and adding statues one by one to the pile of plaster by the grate. The diamonds, as you no doubt surmised, were in the 2nd of the 4 museum copies. Once in the possession of the stones, the 2 hurriedly completed packing of their bags and sped for Waterloo Station with the hope of a boat train and freedom on the continent. Yeah, we never even came across the name Errol Hawk.
No. I guess we should have gone to the prison.
Yeah.
The prison wasn't an option.
Oh, well then how did we find out about this guy?
How would we? Well, let's find out.
Yeah.
He went to the Mason home, the Bank of England, Mabel Brown, the gift shop, J. Small and Company, Millbank Prison.
Thought you said we couldn't go to the prison.
There's no prisons in the phone book. I feel cheated now.
Yeah, so how would we have found out that he was Cook's cellmate?
Yeah.
Was it under M for Millbank?
Well, yeah, but how do you know the name of the prison is Millbank Prison?
Google.
That's the part that has me mildly concerned now, because we talked about going to the prison.
Yes, we wanted to go to the prison.
And there's no prison or jail listed in here as such. So we'd have to know its name was Millbank.
Okay, so what's the text from that?
The Millbank
What
prison
we have found out
text.
there that we didn't know.
23 Southwest. It's probably a huge block of text. Let's see. I can find it here.
Well, and they went to the Treasury. Maybe they said something at the Treasury.
That could be. They might have slipped something. Nat Cook is still indeed in prison. And the mention that Errol Hawk was released on Monday.
Mm-hmm. That would have been very helpful to know.
That would have been very helpful. And you know what? You know what? I'm giving us half points for the killer. Because I feel like a lack of reference in the book to, like, there's literally no listing in the directory of any kind of jail or prison, which implied to me it was not an option.
Right.
What did
Yeah.
they say at the Treasury?
Oh, it's like 2 pages.
Seriously?
Oh, we should have gone there.
And well, now bear in mind, that's
Yeah, I wanted to go to the Treasury.
it's not 2 pages of relevant information to the case.
Well,
I think that's where we would have learned more about Moriarty.
so what did they find out there?
I'm not going to read it tonight. I'll let you look
Oh.
tomorrow.
Okay. Well,
Or
bring it.
instead of your usual
upstairs.
nighttime reading. Yes, I will bring it up. So, places that he went, that we went, so we can get our partial score. And I stand by. I think we earn partial credit for our answer of Brown, because we never had knowledge we could get Hawk's actual name, and we assumed that Hawken was Brown was under the name Hawken. So I feel like I don't feel dirty doing that. However, here are the stops. First of all, we don't count Waterloo. That's just a free one for the fun. The Mason home is where Holmes went first. He then went to the Bank of England. He then saw Mabel Brown.
There is a thing on prisons.
Where?
Page 24 of 28. Military prison, Millbank prison, Newgate prison / Old Bailey. You led us astray.
Okay. My directory, which came with our boxed game, does not have prisons in it.
Not between printers and public houses?
You know what's between printers and public houses?
Prison. I can't see it.
A blank space.
A blank space. Oh my gosh. Well, you gave us references. Well, I guess we have to print this out then, because it must be a corrected copy.
Yeah. Seriously. Okay.
I should have looked. I just took your word for it.
I would take my word for it too, because I was looking at my book.
Yeah, page 24.
Okay. J. Small and Company and To Violet Blue. He used the following articles from the paper: deaths, personal thing to Errol, the ceramics advertisement, the advertisement for the gift shop, and the fact that the Vree diamonds were never found. So, here is our
We
score.
did all that.
How did we do? Actually, you know what? Not counting penalty points, we didn't do bad. I mean, we're giving ourselves half credit for the killer, so that's 10 points. Why? He surprised Mason while attempting to steal the Venus statue. He was there to steal the diamonds. I'm giving us the full credit for that answer.
Yeah.
To get the diamonds. What do they contain? The diamonds. Who stole the 5 sisters? Small and Cook. We get credit for that. Although I'm deducting 5 points because Hawkins and Brown were never involved in that theft.
We don't have the name of the cabbie or the cab driver.
Right. Who was the accomplice? Blue. 20 points there. And what was found on his body? Oh,
Wheel marks.
no. Traces of arsenic, probably administered by his wife.
What tells us that?
I have no idea how we were supposed to get that.
We should have suspected her of poisoning him, though, after some of the comments that were made.
I know.
Yep. Okay, so 10 points there, 5 points there for a 15-point penalty for a total score of 85. Now comes the part that hurts. Here we go. 5, 10, 15, 20. Wait a second. Where's the Everson gift shop? Well, that's the oh. He never verified at the DeVries shop about what was going on. He just surmised that. Okay. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. We didn't count that. 35, 40, 45,
Oh,
50, 55.
Ay, ay, ay.
Final score, 30 points.
We're not negative.
We did not end up in the negatives. Oh my gosh, did we completely lose RJ? I know he'd been having cat problems.
We did lose him. I don't know. I haven't seen him for a few minutes.
I don't think he wanted to watch this travesty of justice. Which, you know, I'm not gonna lie, I am really frustrated, and I just have to remember not to use this when the print one is available. Because the lack of knowledge that there were prisons, I think completely would have changed our game.
Yeah.
Because we've all been you guys have really been good about being on top of the papers and identifying like the thing. So if I had put the name Errol Hawk out there, that would have been we would have been on blue like
Yeah.
like right away. Yeah.
You know, and I kept looking at the personals because I was like, there's some really cryptic stuff in here.
Mhm.
And it did not click.
Yeah.
Because I was just like, I don't know who these people are. And then I didn't go back and look at it after we talked to Violet.
Yep,
Yeah.
and there's the prisons.
Cook was convicted of the theft, and then knowing that he had a cellmate, that would have been a massive tip off.
Yep.
So,
Oh,
told his cellmate where to find the diamond.
the distinctive sign of murders ordered by Moriarty is a Roman coin found on the victims. And the director of the companies were the cause of the shortage of funds. So that would have been at the value of the points you would get from them, they would be within 2 leads to uncover those, or 1 lead and 1 supposition. So
where did a coin come up under anything?
Probably treasure. Well, the coin on the bodies you're talking about?
I have no idea.
I have no idea either.
I have no idea.
There was never any mention.
Did you? I didn't catch when I was going down our score, RJ. Did you catch how this all concluded?
A little bit.
So the quick recap. You weren't here for the prison fight, were you?
Where someone died.
No.
No? Okay, I only assumed, but there was a prison fight.
My directory that came with the box set
Right.
does not have prisons in the categories in the back.
There's just a blank spot between printers and public houses.
However,
But the digital copy has 3 prisons listed between printers and public houses. So he's been saying, no, there's no prisons. We can't go to the prisons. And then he said, oh, well, he went to the prison. How were we supposed to know to go to Millbank prison? And then I went and looked in the directory. I'm like, it's right here on page 24.
Technically speaking, then, we should get more points because we were just misinformed.
Yeah. Well, giving us half credit for.
Did you
Go ahead.
did you not subtract 5 points for going to Old Bailey? Because we went to Old Bailey.
Thinking it would count as the prisons. Okay, I'm down with that. So our final, okay, that kicks our score up by 5. Yeah. So giving us half credit for the killer, because we knew Hawken was the killer. We just thought it was Brown under that name. It was, in fact, Errol Hawk, who had been Cook's roommate or cellmate. We got everything else right except who stole the diamonds, because we thought Hawken was involved in the theft, and there's no conclusion as to who the third person was. We don't know the getaway driver.
Hawken.
Yeah, but we got Blue. We nailed her for it. And we ended up with a final score after we tally up our correct points and subtracted our penalties. Our final score was 35 points.
Not negative.
Not
That's
negative.
what I said.
Not negative. It is still one of the lower scores we've turned in on one of these.
I think that we had a handicap, though.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, we definitely did.
We would have visited the prison like 10 steps ago.
Oh yeah. Because we've been talking about the prison this whole time.
Yeah, like, is Nat still in prison? We don't know if Nat is still in prison. Maybe we should go to the prison. We can't go to the prison.
Okay, I'm also going to make a note in here before I
digital.
finish this. See digital phone book.
See, I would like to think that Holmes was being petty and just forgot to give us the location of the prisons.
Printed book
He wanted to win.
is missing.
He's like, you guys know this city. You live here.
entries.
You can find the prison
Okay.
without a directory. You probably all been in it once or twice.
I prefer to spend some of the last parts of the stream just enjoying everybody's company, because usually we get some great conversations. However, given the hour, the fact that we were uncomfortable with the idea of saying, look, we're going to have to continue this next week, so we were pushed through. We are way later than I like to be streaming. And I'm definitely going to be feeling this in the morning, because I still have to record my greeting to my students tomorrow morning at 6:30 a.m.
Ew.
So I'd like to, get some of my sleep. But I want to thank you guys for being here. I would have loved if Pam had been able to linger with us, but she had her own responsibilities. We thought we would be wrapped up a little sooner. So I want to thank RJ and Aaron especially for tagging along tonight. Hopefully it was not such a sour experience that everyone wants to come back again at some point.
This was super fun.
This is fun.
And it's
This is the type of game that's right out my alley. I would play it.
well, then hopefully we'll make you Baker Street regular irregulars. As we continue to kind of grow. So to
Need
everyone,
some more contact. Oh.
well, and the fun thing, we can get really goofy. We can even do like back-to-back nights, as long as everyone promises not to watch the night before.
A competition between groups to see who scores the most on each one.
Kind of. Actually, you know what?
We keep a log in all of the little booklets of every time
Oh, yeah.
that it gets played and who played it and what the score was.
Yeah, so it's
I'm
been
very excited.
it's been documented. But what would be kind of crazy is to call up Indy and say, tell you what, you got a board night sometime. We should stream opposite each other.
Ooh, and race.
race for the score.
Race.
It's not a true race, because it's all based on the score, but there's a certain bragging rights involved. That would be kind of fun too, to send people back and forth between the two, just to watch the two groups working on it. And like LB would be all about like needling each group about what the other group was coming up with. And she's clever enough to needle in a way that doesn't give the story away.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that would be hilarious. Okay. On that note, let me see who's still around at this hour, so that those that are still hanging out with us have a place to go, because absolutely you always share the love when you can. And I've met so many amazing people, and I can never not say this at the end of a stream. I have met so many amazing people through streaming that I absolutely feel obligated to continue to share that with everyone, because it's just such a a fun and exciting thing to be a part of these communities. I think Twitch gets a real bad name for being this toxic place where people play games and yell at each other, and they forget there are just some amazing communities you find yourself in. Both the one that I've been able to join through the group that I met RJ through, but also the one that we're trying to build ourselves over at the Raven. What did I call it? The Loft and Noir on Discord, and the link is down in the notes. Feel free to actually join our community there. We're all gamers. We're all cool. And thank you. And thank you guys for watching. I'm going to actually send you over, of all places, to Spinny Helm, Jeremy's stream. He is playing No Man's Sky again tonight, and he is trying to get into the stream thing. So if you can show him some love and attention, that would be amazing. And otherwise, thank you for coming over tonight and hanging out. It has been a lot of fun. So I'm going to set that up so you guys can go. I'm going to confirm that he's up. I set the raid up, and it shows a blank camera screen, so I'm going to make sure he's actually up before I send everybody there. He must have just gone off, because now it shows that it's dead. So, since we're not going there, choice number 2. In that case, y'all need to meet the captain. If you haven't met him yet, that's where you're going. If for no other reason, I just love the fact that he fusses about me. So, anyway, thank you for coming out tonight. Thank you for being part of the stream. Thank you for supporting me through just even hanging out in chat and throwing us some great ideas. Until next time, folks, please wear your flippin' mask. And above all else, stay safe.